All right. Welcome in, everybody, to Live from Radio Row. I am Wild Wayne Cartwright. We're here from the Hill Podcast and the Ride with Wild Wayne Cartwright. I am pleased to be joined to start off our show today by none other than number 3 in your program from Jackson State, a defensive back, Robert McDaniel.
Oh yeah.
What's up, my boy?
What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, man. We good. So, man, let's talk about you win the SWAC championship. First off, congrats on that.
Okay, thank you.
But now you got to turn the page real quickly and start getting ready for Celebration Bowl, man. So talk about just the whole mindset, man, from when you win on Saturday and then you turn the page and Sunday, now you start to prepare.
Oh yeah. First and foremost, I just want to thank God for just being able to put me in this position. Just coming in last Saturday, that was my first time winning a D1 championship. So that was still real, just a surreal feeling, and just a quick turnaround, having to get on a plane Wednesday and then come here to be here in this moment. It's just everything's just crazy. Being able to play in the NFL stadium for my first time in my career, I'm just really just taking it all in.
Yeah, first time in an NFL stadium. Wow. So when you walked out on that turf, man, for practice, man, what were those emotions like?
Just walking out there, honestly, in my mind, I was like, man, I can see myself playing on Sundays in this type of environment. I know I'm made for these type of games, and I know that I can get there. I just try to keep working, show what I can do, and just let the rest handle itself.
Yeah. Now the game for me that really impressed me about you was the Alabama State game. 14 tackles, forced fumble,
a
sack,
two TFLs.
Two TFLs. You know what I'm saying? For you, man, like I know you like to you're versatile. You play in coverage and you also get close to the line of scrimmage, man. So like where does that toughness? Where'd you get that from, man?
Honestly, it's really just in my DNA. Is you either have it or you don't, and I just try to pride myself on how can I get better, how can I stand out, how can I, separate myself from others, and that's what I try to do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So now that you guys are getting ready for this game, tomorrow, what about? Obviously, you've gone through your scouting reports, you've done your prepare and all that stuff. You know about what's on the other side. Those three receivers.
Yes,
the Caden Hyde, Justin Smith Brown, and the Najee Carter. Talk about like your thoughts about those guys, and then also the matchup.
They're a good receiving core. I'm not going to take that away from them. They're a good team. They're here for a reason, but we're also here for a reason. And I also feel as though they haven't met a defense like us. We pride ourselves on dominance. We try to we dominate from beginning to end. And when it's all said and done, we the ones that leave out the smoke.
Yeah, I feel that, man. So let's just kind of go back a little bit, man. First football team you ever played on in youth football?
The first team I probably played on, most definitely the South Jackson Panthers.
South Jackson Panthers.
Yeah, in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, man. So what's that like, man, being homegrown, man?
Honestly, it's just amazing. Then, especially having my childhood friends I grew up with, and even my little cousins and my little nieces and nephews, like they look up to me. Seeing me in the position I am and doing the things that I'm doing. That kind of gives me that extra motivation. Like I have people looking up to me. Not saying that I'm gonna let them down, but that just gives me that extra. I have purpose. I know I'm doing something right to shed light on people that might have aspirations of playing too. So I just try to be an example. Try to be an example no matter what it is.
Yeah. And so for tomorrow, man, what is it going to take for you to be having a selfie with me under the backdrop of confetti after y'all raise that trophy? What are the keys, man, that you guys have talked about as a team to getting it done tomorrow?
We always talk about our process, and that's what we do. We trusted Coach TC. He put us in the position to be able to do this. He told us at the beginning of the season we're made for December, and lo and behold, look where we're at now. And honestly, what it's just gonna come down to is really just the little things. We got here by just doing the little things right. working hard regardless of the disrespect that was dished out to us, the negatives. We keep everything in our, you know, con- continue to keep everything in our control. We know what we can do. We just gotta continue to seize the opportunity and show what Jackson State football is about.
Yeah, yeah. And so tomorrow, man, we expecting the show. You know, this is a Super Bowl.
Huh?
It's a Super Bowl atmosphere in a stadium that's hosted Super Bowl.
No?
Getting ready to host the CFP championship, man.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that's real crazy, isn't it?
Crazy.
Yeah. I know them juices gonna be flowing tomorrow, man. They flowing right now.
I'm tell you,
You ready to play right now?
ready to play.
And you said y'all can line it up in here in the room. Let's get it on. But hey, man, real quick, man, for all your Jackson State fans out there, man, you know, what do you want to say to your Jackson State followers?
Jackson State Falls, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for believing us. Thank you for being part of our journey, you know, having our back and we having y'all back. So let's continue to just, you know, stay together because we in this together and we not leaving without that trophy, baby. Go Tigers.
Yeah, and Ms. Mack wanted to say proud of you, Rob.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Mack.
And yeah, I would be remiss. Thank you, Dave. He said, I got to ask the go-to question. What's your game day ritual and what gets you turned up for game day, man?
My game day ritual, you know, I just wake up. I start by just waking up, praying to God, you know, just continue to give me the strength to go out there and do what I do. And honestly, it's just about going through walkthrough stuff. That's chill, but when it's time to put out them headphones on and lock in, I just turn on my music. Once I get to the stadium, I chill in my locker, go walk the field a little bit. I call my girlfriend. You know, we get our little pregame prayer, and I get suited up. And after that, it's time to go, baby. I'm locked in.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, Rob, man, God bless, man. I appreciate you, my boy, for joining.
Oh, yeah,
hey,
I
man.
appreciate you.
Robert McDaniel, real deal, y'all.
Oh,
Number 3 in your program, ready to win tomorrow.
Oh, yes,
Thanks
sir.
for joining the show, man.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Back here in a minute. And welcome back. All right. So now I'm pleased to be joined by none other than legendary South Carolina State head coach, former head coach, Buddy Pough, y'all.
Hey, how it go? Yes, everything's good. It's fun being here. Don't have to worry about coaching the team. I'm just here having a good time, enjoying myself, trying to see if I can see a good football game. Hopefully, tomorrow.
Yeah. So, you know, Chennis who I'm looking forward to having sit in that very chair a little bit later.
And listen, you will enjoy him. I guarantee you when he's here because he's the real deal. He has really done a great job of first of all putting our program in a place that continues our success that way, and then he's actually excited us in a way where we got to process each day that we all trying to follow, and you know, we just try to follow his routine. And I can tell you, it's been a fun ride for us this year. A quick, short ride.
Yeah, quick, short ride. So, what were the things that you saw in him immediately that said, "This is the man to succeed me"?
Well, he was at Benedict, which was only about 50 minutes up the street from us, and it had tremendous success in the short period of time he was there. We had him in a couple of times to speak at our touchdown club. We've got a fantastic group of men, a group of people, in Orangeburg that get together every Thursday for a touchdown club meeting. And we bring in all of the coaches from the entire state from week to week. And it's an organization of fans of all the universities in the state, not necessarily just South Carolina State. And we brought Chennis in 2 times. And I can tell you that the first time that we brought him in, I was caught off guard a little bit by how good he was. office.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time he came in, it was getting close to, me retiring, and we had already announced, and half the club was pounding me about, this is the guy, this is the guy, this is the guy. So I can tell you that, he made an impression on us in ways. His team had been good, but the fact that he had done such a good job of presenting himself and promoting his program and doing all the other kind of stuff that you do as a head coach today is business. Everybody has got issues trying to figure out how to deal with the issues of the day, the NILs, the transfer polls, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he's done a nice job of dealing with those kind of circumstances. So he's a modern day guy who's actually come along and set the world on fire with all of the tools that you have in today's game.
Yeah. Now, one thing that you can say that can be said, you have won this game before.
I have.
You have prepared a team to be ready to take that that Mercedes-Benz Stadium turf.
Kind of sort of.
Yeah. So going into tomorrow, what advice, if any, have you given to the coaching staff?
Do what you've been doing. Follow your plan. Don't deviate from what you've been successful at. So far. And the general kinds of rules that we have in the game. Don't give them any easy points of interest, scores, turnovers, anything, any of that kind of stuff that kind of gives you an opportunity to, get a little bit behind the eight ball that way. If you don't give them much, then most times, they have a hard time earning, the same things that you're trying to keep from giving them. So, it's a process that I think our guys pretty much have followed throughout the entire season. Our guys have done a fantastic job of correcting errors as things present themselves during the season. They've done a nice job of identifying them and correcting them in a way that they've, got those things settled in a way that they don't do those things over and over again. So, those kind of things are the kind of things that we just continue to try to do. And I think our guys do a fantastic job of making sure that they follow the rules that way.
Yeah. Now, you guys at South Carolina State, you just recently celebrated the 50th anniversary of your 1974 championship team. Yeah. So how was that, man? Catching up with all those players, man.
I'm telling you, that was a lot of fun, and it's got a lot of prongs to it as far as what our goals are when we bring those guys back. But the first thing we really wanted to do was gather each other and actually have an opportunity to just kind of love each other up a little bit and have a good time together. Now, we raised some cash for the university. We raised some cash for athletics, actually, and that kind of stuff. But the most important thing we did was to get together and actually have a nice reunion of minds that hadn't seen each other for a long, long time. 50 years. I was in the class of 75. The class of 74 was the class of Donnie Shell.
Yeah.
And Donnie, of course, is an NFL Hall of Famer now. And then the class of 76 is the year afterwards, and they won a championship also. But the class of 76 is Harris' class. And they picked us a lot about the fact that those two classes, 75 didn't. But you know what? We had, I guarantee you, about as nice a time together for that particular year. And the fact that our team was winning the championship that same weekend, it was a tradition that looks like we've been carrying forward for, over 50 years now. So, it was a wonderful, wonderful time that weekend. And I can tell you that I'm looking forward to them doing it again in 2025 because our 76 class also won one. And we started this tradition of actually having those teams reunion 50 years out.
Yeah, I love that. So now that you've retired, and obviously you're still close to the game, talk about what you think with obviously NIL, transfer portal, having to recruit your own team. What do you think about all that?
It's more than you can imagine as far as being able to keep up with all the different trends and methodologies that are going on in today's game to be able to keep your team that you had to preach. This team that we got here that's playing this game in 2024 will have to be completely reassembled and put together and recruited again in another couple of weeks.
That's tough.
And I can tell you that I've had a chance to visit some of the major programs in our area, the SECs and ACCs of the world. They got two sets of recruiting staffs now. And, their first staff recruits like they've done traditionally over time. They've got high school kids in mind and that kind of stuff, and they do a good job of actually deciding the stars, 5, 4, whatever your method of evaluation is that way. And then they've got another staff that's watching FCS and the smaller level Division I teams. And they try to pick out all of the possible kids on those teams.
Yeah.
And they might decide they want to try to deal with in a way that you don't necessarily want to hear.
Yeah.
From our end. So they'll end up taking a guy. We had a guy last year who played for us as a freshman. And one of the teams came and offered him a package that, that I had to tell that kid, man, you got to take that. There's no way that you can do it, in a way where, we just basically trying to just give you a full scholarship and having a hard time doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys offered this guy, 6 figures, to come to their school. So I can tell you that it'll be a problem for us down the road going forward. So, and not necessarily us, but I'm talking about FCS teams in general.
Yes.
And you'll have situations where a guy will come out and he'll play 4 years and he'll be really topped out as one of the top players. And as a graduate guy, he can transfer anywhere with or without the transfer portal, because that really gives him some flexibility. But as a transfer portal guy, if he gets in those windows, and if we in one of those windows right now for the next 8 or 10 days, I think it's 15 days when we started a couple of days ago. And then we'll go back into another deal where they're out of that deal for a while. And then in another 3 or 4 months after spring ball, they got another 8-10 day period.
Yeah.
So it's enough of that kind of stuff going on out there that you really got to be on your P's and Q's. And then at the same time, we got to also be poised and ready to go to take some kids from some other places, some of the lower level teams from us. Some of the lateral teams from us may have a guy who their program is not going so well. And they got to figure out how to keep that kid, because we can possibly, if that kid goes in the portal, get that kid coming out. So it's a big deal. It really is. So we'll see. Another year or two. We'll see how long this lasts. I think they've got to do a couple things to tweak this portal deal, but at the same time, right now, it is what it is.
So, in other words, you're saying that you're happy to be retired.
Yes.
So you're telling me you're happy to be retired?
Well, as far as actually having to deal with all that mess here, I can tell you that I don't know if I'm up to that task. I really don't. And, it's just kind of disheartening to really develop a guy, get him to the point where he's really, really ready to play for you.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes in and snatches him from right under you right at the point when he's about to be his very best. So I think that'd be a little bit discouraging.
Yeah, well, to your point, I think that eventually, we know there has to be some reform. There has to be some rules, because it's been like the Wild Wild West, and but I just want to say, give you your flowers though, because you wanted the best, man, and
I appreciate you.
That team that you brought in here 3 years ago, obviously, you guys were a heavy underdog, and you guys came with a tremendous defensive plan, and you guys won that game, and it was awesome. But the thing that I love when you were standing on the stage with that hat turned to the side.
I didn't put it on my head that way. Now, that same guy that put the hat on my head was the coach who played last night for the Rams.
Right.
And, we talk pretty much every week or so. And I'm looking for, he's going to be here for the game set.
Awesome.
They played last night.
Yeah, so he get on that flight.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
that's a neat little thought.
I'll get you out of here on this one, Coach. What is the one thing that you miss about coaching?
Being with the staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get, and I miss the kids too. I miss the relationships that I have with my team and with my staff. But the staff is what that's your family. And you with those guys every day. And, it's just different. That routine that you get up and you see those guys every day. So I miss my staff.
Yeah. Well, everybody, this is a legend here. This is the legendary coach, former coach, Buddy Pough, South Carolina State. I don't have to ask him a question about who he's going for tomorrow.
No, you don't.
Because you see it already on his chest and you already see it in his heart.
I guarantee you.
Coach Pough,
Appreciate you.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Best of luck here in your future. And thank you for your contributions to the game.
So much.
All right. We'll be back here in a moment, y'all. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm here with legendary North Carolina A&T and also many multifaceted places along the HBCU landscape. Sam Washington, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well, and thanks for having me.
Hey, it is an honor to have you on this show. So you're retired, but you were on 4 North Carolina A&T Celebration Bowl winning teams, 2 as head coach and 2 on the staff of Rob Broadway.
Yes.
So first off, before I get started, bring me my money.
Well, that was one of those things. That game was tough. It was playing ECU in the night. It was a night game, and the weather just would not allow us to play. So, we got together and said, "Well, listen, you guys got to play tomorrow Sunday." And okay, and so we get on the bus heading back to Raleigh, and then we get halfway from Raleigh. They said, "No, you got to go to Fayetteville." So that really perturbed me. So I got uneasy about that, and then we came back the next day, and we won a football game. And just some of the comments that were made that night will prompt me to make that statement.
Yeah.
Bring me my money.
Bring me my money, man. I love that. And it's one of those iconic moments that will be, it'll be timeless because it was one of a great celebrated victory, for an HBCU.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
now with North Carolina A&T, when you came in as the head coach, preparing for this game, what are some of the things that you could say from a head coach aspect preparing for this game that you think Coach Chennis and Coach TC Taylor probably have some of the emotions headed into this game for tomorrow?
I'm sure they do, but I think one of the bigger things is keeping your team on the wraps, so to speak. Keeping them level-headed, keeping them focused, keeping them, on task. That's one of the things that I think you have to spend a lot of effort and time into. And not X's and O's, all that's been done. Throughout the season, you have prepared for this moment. And I think they both are 2 very worthy teams. I think we're going to have a very exciting Celebration Bowl tour.
That's awesome. And obviously when you were coaching, it was a little bit of different time where there was no NIL.
Oh, thank God.
No transfer portal.
Oh, thank God.
But if you were a coach under today's circumstances, how do you think you would be able to manage with NIL and transfer portal in terms of, to be specific, recruiting your own players?
Well, that's one of the things I do believe in, player development. And it's very difficult when you bring in a player, you get him developed, and then he want to leave. But that's just part of the landscape now. But I do think player development is still very critical because not everybody going to develop at the same time. Some kids develop and get better later. And others do well in high school but don't do well in college. So it's a tough deal. And what I like least about it, you get a kid developed, and you got your team all lined up in spring football. Then after spring, 3 or 4 of them leave. So it's like you always starting over. So that's what I don't like about it. However, there is giving kids opportunity. I'm for that. I just don't know the proper way of doing it, a good way of doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
Mhm.
And it's a very complicated principle, as you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, in the days since you retired from coaching, like what's Coach Sam Washington up to these days? What's he into?
You know, I'm very good at doing nothing. No, but I do. I'm an avid golfer, you know, so I do try to, you know, get out there and hit the ball around a little bit. Been doing a lot of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen the world, and my wife and I, and family, and spending more time with family. You know, as a coach, you don't have time to do anything.
Yes.
So you miss so many, you know, different family occasions. That's birthdays, that's family reunions, you know, all those little things. And I'm very grateful that now I can afford to do those things.
Yeah. But now that you're retired, do the competitive juices, are they still there?
Oh, well, trust me. Playing cards, I don't care what. Shoot marbles. I play to win. And my wife be telling me all the time, let them kids win.
He said, no, man, I'm not letting anybody win. I'm not letting anything happen.
That's right. They coming.
So, North Carolina A&T, they recently hired a new
Yes,
head
sir.
coach.
Yes, sir.
So, talk about it. How you feel about
I love it. I love the hire. You know, we call it each one of us.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Gibbs worked with us both. As a matter of fact, he played for me at Central.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Trei.
Yeah.
You know, so those two of my former players, and then we had the opportunity to work together at Grambling and at A&T. So I'm very happy for him. I'm very anxious to see, you know, how well he does. I know he's gonna do exceptionally well, and just excited. And I'm gonna be there for him. Whatever he needs, he'll get from me.
Yeah. Now, I'll ask this, and I just whatever your perspective is on this,
Mm-hmm.
talk about from your aspect where the state of HBCU. I'll say athletics, not
Okay.
just football.
Okay.
Where do you think the state of HBCU athletics is, and where do you think the evolution needs to be, or places the focuses need to be for it to continue to grow?
Okay. Now, my opinion is a lot different than most.
Okay.
I think we, you know, good place, but we're not where we would like to be.
Mm-hmm.
My fear is, I can remember this a long time ago. Coaches asking, how can a guy like Jerry Rice end up at Mississippi Valley?
Mm-hmm.
And so now, the way I see it, they have another way of making sure that don't happen again. You know, so I think we as the people have to be very careful, you know, to keep our brand, to keep bringing in those guys that's a world apart. You know, you got to find one or two of those nuggets, and they're gonna have to develop and continue to make HBCUs what they always have been. During my era, it was every NFL player, team had a HBCU player.
Correct.
Yes, and those numbers are dwindling,
Mm-hmm.
and so we got to find a way, you know, to increase those numbers.
Yeah, and that's great that you said that, because with football, I noticed like last year there were 31 of the 256 that were drafted were from non-Power 4 conferences,
Yep.
and it says that there is a shift
Yep.
that's moving towards the big boys and not so much D2, FCS,
That's
things
it.
of that nature. So that's great that you said that. So moving here, I'll get you out of here with this question.
Okay.
All right, so the game tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what are the keys that you see for first Jackson State and then second for South Carolina
I think
State?
the keys are very similar for both teams. You know, I think they need to get a fast start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have some success early, and then the other thing, the team that protect the football.
Yes, sir.
The team that protect the football will have a chance. I think both teams are very evenly matched
Mm-hmm.
in many areas. And, you know, for the most part, you know, the MEAC have won. They're there.
Yeah, 6-2. 6-2.
So, but Jackson has a chance. I love both coaches. I love both coaches, and I think it's going to be a very good football game. I really do.
You want to make a pick?
I'm partial to the men.
Okay. Yeah, I get you. I get you.
I've been here recently. However, I'm a swipe player.
Right.
So I'm gonna stay right there in the middle.
Stay right there in the middle, and you'll be
enjoy
happy either way.
Either way.
All right. Well, hey, he's legendary coach Sam Washington, and he's just joined us live. And I appreciate your time, Coach.
I enjoyed it. Thank
yeah,
you
man.
so very much.
And best of luck here in your future. And we'll be back with more. All right. Welcome back to the show. I am here with number 6 in your program, defensive back Esaias Guthrie from Jackson State. What's up, my boy? Hey, man, we doing great. So, turning the page, man.
Yeah.
You just celebrated a SWAC championship, but not too long.
Yeah, not too long at all.
So now that you've turned the page, man, like what's the preparation? What's the mindset this week from your aspect?
Going into the Southern game, we knew where we wanted to be. We knew where we were going to get to. And so we kind of had to prepare for 2 games at once in a sense. And so we kind of were preparing for South Carolina State while we were preparing for Southern at the same time. Just trying to kind of introduce some things just to get a feel for it because, we played Saturday. We had off Sunday, practice Monday, practice Tuesday. We was on a flight Wednesday. And so the turnaround was ridiculous and crazy. And we knew it was going to be like that. It's been a big mental week for us, though. You know what I'm saying? And so we're ready to go. We have a good feel for what's going on. But we also have answers for different stuff that may happen as well.
So, obviously, in your position as a defensive back, much has been talked about, what you guys are going up against on the other side with South Carolina State's receivers.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, man, about their receivers? And then also, what do you think about how you guys match up against them?
They got a good group of guys. They have a good system, I would say. Their system is well coached and a great group of coaches on there. And we're not so much worried about the receiving core and specific guys. We're just worried about the scheme, right? What does their scheme do? What can hurt us? What can do this? What can do that? But at the end of the day, man, I've watched the film. I'm a guy I actually came from Delaware State, so I know the competition on that side. I know how it gets. And so I watch certain games to see how they react to certain things. And they have some explosive guys. So we're going to make sure that we can get certain things to get hands on those guys and make sure that they understand this is big boy football. So it's a different level when you come over to the SWAC. They like to think it's more physical in the middle. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. But we'll see how the game goes.
Yeah. So when you first stepped out on that field, man, in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, talk about those emotions, brother.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm saying to myself, man, God is great. God is great to get me for where I was, where I grew up, and how I got to where I am now. I talk to kids. I talk to little kids, young guys all the time, man. I always tell them, like, it's not always about being the greatest, being the most athletic, being the fastest, being the strongest. I was none of those things. I got guys back at home who was better than me in football, guys back at home who was smarter than me and doing different things. I just made the right decisions. And that's a testament to my story and the abilities that I have around me. It's just a blessing. It's a blessing to be in.
Yeah, well, let's stick with that for a second. Talk about, where you from, man, and talk about that. Talk about that road, man. You said Delaware State, man. Talk about that road.
Yeah. So I actually went to Delaware State. Went there in 2019, redshirted. Came out, had a great redshirt freshman year, went freshman All-American, and then came back and sat out the 2022 season due to some different things with the staff. So just to be here right now, when I sat out that year, I didn't know if I was going to play football again. Honestly, I didn't know where I was going to do or if I wanted to. I know I had the opportunity to. I definitely knew that schools would want me. It was just about what I wanted to do, personally, mentally, physically, emotionally. So coming down to Jackson State, I came down, packed my family up in a van, We drove down to Jackson State when they played Southern in 2022 for the SWAC championship.
Yeah.
And so we came down here. I think it's that Friday, and I had a conversation with Coach O and Coach TC. Man, this was, and if you remember, Dion actually announced that he was leaving the day after that.
Correct.
So
Correct.
we had a conversation, and it was like, look, man, we don't know what the program is going to look like. Honestly, we don't. We don't know who's going to be the head coach. We don't know who's going to be the DC, the OC, the position coach. We know that if we're here, and Coach TC gets the job, we want to be part of the family. And so I told him that day, man, if y'all get the job, I'm coming. I'll do it. And so we locked in, man. And so I've been a Jacktown Jew ever since.
Love that, man. I feel that. I feel that. So, all right, let's get a little bit light here, man. All right. First football team you ever played on in youth, man.
J Street Raiders.
Yeah?
J Street Raiders.
J Street Raiders.
Yeah, J Street Raiders.
I love these names, man. Love these names. And also, man, when you were playing youth football, man, and even till now, as a defensive back, man, who do you pattern your game after?
It's not even really patterning my game after anybody, honestly.
Okay, well, who are some of your favorites at the position?
Yeah. Loving Xavier Howard and what he's able to do. Love how he takes the ball away. Right now I'm watching a lot of guys that came from here, the Kobe Durant, guys like that. I have a guy, one of my friends who plays on the Chargers, Trei still.
Yeah.
Watching him. So I'm just watching guys I know kind of close to me, just go watch their game and kind of be I'm close to him, so you know I'm able to call him and say, hey, like what came out on this play? How does that work? Kind of get a feel for the game on that level. Yeah, that's cool that you mentioned Steele, man, because he just scored a touchdown right there with the Chargers. Same stadium. Yeah, you went crazy that game. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago. I gotta go crazy in the same stadium. That'd be dope. Yeah, man. So just from an aspect now for tomorrow, okay? What are the things that you guys know that you need to do, man, bar none, to walk off that field tomorrow with that confetti and that trophy? First thing first is be us. Be who we are. That's a physical football team that plays for 4 quarters and finishes well. And then that's another thing. We got to finish well. We're going to do everything in our power to put ourselves ahead of the 8 ball. But we will be able to finish. And that's the biggest thing. So we just got to finish. Yeah, man. Well, like I said, man, one of my favorite games this season that I did see, I watched your game. I mean, obviously when you guys played us, but when I watched that game against Alabama State, I watched that game from start to finish, the physical slugfest of the game. Yeah. And I knew right there, I said, this team's tough. Yeah. And they got what it takes. Yeah. So, man, congratulations on first last week. But now, good luck, man, as you get ready to take on South Carolina State tomorrow, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Should be dope, man. Appreciate you, my brother. Hey, that's Esaias Guthrie, y'all, number 6 in your program. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I am pleased to be joined with none other than Jackson State head coach, TC Taylor.
In the flesh.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man.
Man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So you've had to do a quick turnaround, man.
Yeah.
First off, congrats on winning your SWAC championship, last Saturday. But now you had to quickly turn the page and get yourselves ready for this week. So for you and a staff aspect, what are some of the immediate keys that you started working on Sunday after we last spoke?
Well, I think the first thing, going into that SWAC championship, you get the prior week off. So we had a good idea. We had the idea to let's start playing a little bit for South Carolina State as well. We had already faced Southern. We was going to use that week leading up to the SWAC championship, basically to get rid of Southern and use that week to prepare for South Carolina State.
Yeah.
Get a good idea of them. we had two good plans going into the SWAC championship week. So this week will be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because you look at it, we lost so much time with travel. We flew out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Still had let the kids enjoy the SWAC championship.
Yeah.
You know? So Sunday was really come in. Hey, good job. Hey, let's flip the switch. Then Monday, you got to let them rest. So we used that. Did a good job of utilizing that prior week to the SWAC championship game to get ready for this weekend.
I hear you. And so let's just kind of get into it, man, with the game. I've already previewed this thing. You know, I had an hour-long show on Sunday night. I talked about it all. I want to first go to your secondary. We talking about Kendrick. We talking about Esaias. We talking about Robert.
Yeah.
Going up against their three receivers, their big three of Caden Hyde, Justice Smith-Brown, and Anaj Carter.
Yeah.
Talk about the matchup from TC Taylor's aspect, man.
Well, it's three of them, but they can only throw to one each and every play. So we got to make sure we're in the right spot.
Yeah.
That's what I told them. You know, they got three really good receivers. They can really play the game. You know, me being a former receiver, watching those guys, they can play.
Yeah.
You know, but I told the guys they can only throw to one each and every snap. You know, so make sure we got that guy covered. But the length, I'm excited about our length, though. You know, they're not very big receivers that they can run. But you look at Rob, about 6'3".
Yeah.
Kevrick is a long corner. Cam, all those guys got length back there.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a good job of being where we're supposed to be, not letting these guys get behind the defense, though, because you're not going to catch them. You're not going to catch them.
You're right.
If you get out front, you're not going to catch these guys. So keeping everything underneath and then tackle with violence.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that the ball carriers never forget, how they went down to the ground, you know, and getting 11 ads to the ball.
Yeah, now let's talk about your trench work.
Wow.
You know, your offensive line, Towns Blue.
Great group.
You know,
Great
Kirk
group.
Ford.
Great group.
Evan.
Great group.
You know, going up against their front.
Yeah.
Jalen Broughton.
Yeah.
Ashad Hall.
Good D line.
You know what I'm saying? Aaron.
Yeah.
You know, talk about that matchup.
Well, when we started this whole deal, we talked about being violent and trained of the physicality of being able to say we're going to line up and run the ball. We're a very arrogant type offense. You know, we don't do a lot of extravagant things. You know what we're doing. It's up for you to go out there and stop it. Up to you to go out there and stop it. And it starts with those guys you just said. You know, one thing that I'm so excited about is that Evan and Kirk Ford has been here. Yes. They've been here. You know, and that's what Towns Blue kind of took on everything that they told them about this point. You know, with Towns Blue, you're talking about a first-team all-conference guy. And Kirk, second-team all-conference guy. But it starts with those three big studs up in the middle. You know, we got some guys on the edge, Quay Davis playing at a high level. You know, Mitchell Smith playing at the center spot. So them dudes, they really control the line of scrimmage. We've had some crazy numbers as far as rush yards, you know, running the football this year. Sometimes I get to set stat sheet at the end of the game. It's like, wow, you know, 200-yard game, 300-yard game. That's us. Yeah. You know, they do a good job of imposing their will up front. And then anytime you got all these backs around there behind them, you know, it makes our job easy. Yeah. Now let's flip it. Their offensive line, Nick Taste, and, you know, you got your guy, Josh Nobles, you got True Thompson. You know, how you see that matchup, man? Man, same deal as we were talking about the offensive line. They're physical. True Thompson, Jeremiah Williams, Josh Nobles. They play a physical brand. Philip Will. Yeah. Stud. Yeah. 260-pound outside backer, edge rush guy. And that's why you don't run the ball on us. Period. You look at the stats don't lie. Yeah. You know, those guys take it personal when teams try to run the ball on us. You guys did a great job running the ball on us. You know? But Coach Quinn, they got some stuff adjusted. But those guys are studs. You talk about Jeremiah Williams and True Thompson in the middle. They're kind of like Kirk Ford and Evan. They've been here. Yes. They know what this is like. They kind of just been even kill, you know. Pleasant surprise. I mean, we were so blessed to get Josh Nobles. You know, transfer Josh Nobles. And when I say blessed, not because of the football part, he was a great fit. And he walked in the door a great teammate. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of times you be like, ooh, I'd be so nervous about these transfers. Are they going to accept my culture? Are they going to be great teammates? But these dudes are brothers. Yes. You know, they play for one another. It ain't no me guys over there. When you see Jeremiah Williams get a sack, you see True Thompson and Josh celebrate like they got that sack. Yeah. When you see Phil get that sack, you see the other guys celebrate like they got that sack. So just a good brotherhood. They're a tough bunch up front. A good-looking bunch, too. You know, very imposing defensive line over there.
All right, now we'll switch gears. We'll finish with the game tomorrow, but we'll switch gears here. All right, we know about the ever-changing landscape of coaching. We know coaching isn't always coaching.
Yeah.
We know it's not always workouts. We know it's not always X's and O's. You know, NIL, transfer portal, all these different things.
Correct.
From a Coach T.C. Taylor aspect,
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things and some of your approaches towards recruiting and transfer portal, all those different things in 2024 and beyond here?
Yeah, I'm always start with the love. You know, let them know I got your back. You know, it's more like you just said. It's so much more that these student athletes have to deal with other than just football. So I'm always checking to make sure that their temperature is good there. You know, I'm always asking how your parents doing, what's going on at home. You got any issues in the classroom or stuff like that? Just gauging them there because that affects their play. You know, a lot of coaches just out there, you know, what I use the word ripping them, you know, tearing them down, but don't really know they may be dealing with something away from the game. You know, that's how I approach recruiting. When I'm recruiting these student athletes, I want to know your mom, I want to know your dad, I want to know all these people around you because I have to figure out when you're not playing at your best what is really going on.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
that's
sir.
the reason why we've been able to be so successful in recruiting because we talk with these dudes about so much other than football.
Yes,
and the stuff after football. You know, I always want to know, like, hey, Blue, what's your plans when you're done? It's your last football game. But I make them sit down and tell me, and then, like, how do we get to that goal?
Yeah.
We call that our life after football plan. And when you show these guys that, because we got some guys with the NIL stuff, but we don't have the NILs like these other places.
Right.
So we have to sell the love too, and showing that we care is more than the football.
Yeah. Now, on a lighter question, I always hit everybody with the one lighter question.
Okay.
Coach T.C. Taylor getting ready for the game. What's he listening to? What gets you motivated as a coach? What you listening to in music, man?
I got my weight room playlist going, so it's a variety, but Savage. 21 Savage kind of getting me going. I had that Jeezy on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
It took me a while to get with Savage, though. You know, he's a younger guy. I'm a little older because I was rocking the Jeezy. And then there's a few songs, I'm like, okay, I can get with that right there. So that's going to get me going every time.
Awesome. I'll get you out of here on this, Coach. For me to be taking a selfie with you tomorrow under the cloud of confetti, keys to the Jackson State victory tomorrow.
Well, he was asking me earlier about, you know, their players and everything. And that's what I told our team. I tell them that every week. It's not about who we play. It's about what we go out there and do. We control that, you know. And if we're doing that with the type of athletes we got, you're not going to be able to stay on the field with us. You know, and that's what I told them. But it's going to mean a lot to finally get this one. You know, this is my fourth one. That's crazy. Participated in 4 Celebration Bowls here in Atlanta, you know. So you take that all the way back. I think the first one was in 2016.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy. You know, and this little dude been around for each one. You know, that's crazy to me. But so I just want to get it done. You know, I'm walking out that tunnel today, and I remember I said it to him. This that same tunnel we walked out last year, and, you know, we lost. And we still hearing, who was it, Central?
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Still hearing them. I can hear them celebrating them. I want to be a part of that. So it's going to mean a lot. You know, I got a lot of family in here, JSU family in here, these players, you know, I want it for them.
Yeah. And you know what, man? If something get in your eye tomorrow,
I'm going to let it go.
Hey, let it flow.
I'm not holding back, too. That's a great point. You know, last week was emotional. I ain't going to lie. You know, be a former player at Jackson State. And, you know, we had the goal of winning that SWAC championship, then to do it in Jackson. I'm like, man, it's crazy. But it was still football.
Yeah.
Now, tomorrow's a little different because there is no more football.
Right.
So,
and that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
There's no more games to play after tomorrow.
It.
And this is the end of the 2024 chapter.
Yeah. You talk about the 2 top teams in HBCU football.
Yeah.
You know, what better two of the best. You're not going. This is not a year where they say, well, so and so should have been here. This team should have. You got the 2 best teams in HBCU football. Hey, let's go get it done.
Well, I gotta say, even though I you know, maroon and white, like I said, I've been a fan of your work though.
Oh, thank you.
I've been a fan of your work, and game always recognized game.
Appreciate it.
You know, some people, they like to just be haters and all that. No, game recognized game, man. You guys, you build a really nice program.
Appreciate it.
And I wish you nothing but the best tomorrow,
Appreciate it.
man. And I'm so grateful that you joined us here
No problem.
on the show
I'll
today.
anytime, man.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
Anytime.
I love what you do, man.
Appreciate you,
Keep
man.
supporting the brand, too.
Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Hey, that's Coach T.C. Taylor, and we'll be back.
Go Tigers.
And welcome back here live on Radio Row. I am pleased to be joined with North Carolina Central head coach Trei Oliver. How are you, Coach?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, it is great to have you on our show today. And I know that you've been pretty busy because coaching is never not busy.
Right.
So start off right now. What do you have that's consuming your time these days?
It's always recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
It's always recruiting. First of all, obviously, we have to try to recruit our team and try to keep those guys out of the transfer portal, and then have to try to replace those that do get in. So we have a relatively young team. We only had 11 seniors, so we're not going to have a huge class.
Mm-hmm.
But recruiting never stops.
Yeah. And I saw one of my favorite players, Jamari Taylor. He entered the portal. Is there any chance that you could possibly get him to come back?
I'm going to have to pass the plate, sell some fish sandwiches or something, because these folks are throwing a lot of money at them. But what's crazy is we do a great job of developing athletes. And Jamari came in as a walk-on. He wasn't on scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
He stays with us for 3 years. We develop him, and now, you have all these P4 schools calling about him. And but that's the game now when such is life. But I'm happy to see those guys. If I can help them anyway, if they want to leave, I'm willing to support them. But landscape has changed, obviously, in college football with that.
Yeah, and I know your program this year. I know you guys would have loved to have been here again. I know, but your team had a pretty successful season, nevertheless, with a winning record. But what do you think, besides obviously the South Carolina State game? What are some of the things that you would have liked to have seen even more from your team this year?
Well, we went 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
We lost to Carolina. It was a 7-point game going in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Kind of got away from us at the end of the game. We had a terrible loss to Elon. Just one of those days. And then we stubbed our toe against a very good South Carolina State team, lost to them by 3. So very disappointing for me to go 8-3 and not be in this game. But, a lot of folks would love to have been at an 8-3 record this year. But we're gonna go back to work and work to be down here and not sitting in front of doing these type of interviews, but trying to prepare for a game.
I hear you. Now, you were just here a few years ago, and you happen to be on the winning side. So just talk about the emotions that come with preparing for a game like this as a head coach and a staff.
Well, to me, it's just like preparing for any other game.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make it any bigger than what it is, because if you start pressing, your kids are going to start pressing. It's like a family. When mom and daddy come in the house, whether something's wrong or not. So if they see coach acting different or we changing the schedule and all this stuff, they're going to get out of whack. So you can't make it any bigger than what it is. It's just another football game. It's a lot at stake, but it's just another football game.
Yeah. Now, ahead of next year, you talked about recruiting. You talked about portal, things of that nature. What are some of the areas of your team that you're looking to enhance, if anything?
Right. Well, we need to fill some gaps on the defensive side of the ball, primarily defensive line. And I was not a transfer portal guy. We did not traditionally recruit out of the portal. I like to develop high school student athletes, guys we build a relationship with, and they want to come to North Carolina Central and be an Eagle. I don't want somebody that couldn't play at this school and couldn't play at that school or got in this trouble coming to my program because they might not fit my culture. But unfortunately, now we have to go out and find some portal guys. So I'm going to lean on the coaches at the programs that they were at. And I'm not really trying to do those backdoor deals and try to be slick trying to sign somebody. So I'm going to ask the coaching staff what's up with them and see if he's a fit. And if he's a fit, we'll recruit him and try to get him in our program.
Okay. Now, on a more lighter side.
All right.
Because I don't want the juices to start flowing from this past season. On a more lighter side, what are the things that Coach Trei Oliver, like who is Coach Trei Oliver off the field? What are the things that Trei Oliver loves to do? Your activities, man.
Oh, relax. If I ever get any time, I like to take a little time off and spend time with my family. But I do play some golf. And one thing about it, the better golfer you are, the worse your football team is. So I don't spend too much time on the golf course. I'll start playing at the end of spring ball, probably about May, and then play for a couple months. But I got to pick the clubs up in July. So right when you start, getting the kinks out and getting pretty good, you start struggling. I mean, it's time for the season, but golf and do a little bit of fishing. But that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which one would you say you're better at, golf or fishing?
Probably. Shoot, probably fishing. Fishing's cheaper. Fishing is cheaper. Hey, look, nobody ever knows how many fish you caught, right? If you throw on the back. So they see that scorecard and see that big 97 on there.
Hey, you know what though? Shooting under 100. I play golf too. Shooting under 100 though. There's more people on the planet that can't shoot that shoot over 100 than there are to shoot under it.
Right. I got different expectations than a lot of other people. Some people like cool with 8 and 3. I want to win championships.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Winning is winning at all times.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
so with North Carolina Central, all right. Next year, who are some of the teams that you guys are playing non-conference next year?
SWAC. We got a SWAC in the house. So we open up with Southern in the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very tough New Hampshire team. They're traditionally a top 25 team. They'll be coming to Durham to play us. We have a Division II rival, Fayetteville State.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be coming to play us. We have Old Dominion at their place.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have those Rattlers down in Tallahassee. So we're going down to Tallahassee. And I'm looking to add one more game. So any FCS school looking for a game, give me a call.
Is there a Aggie Eagle Classic next year too, or no?
Eagle Aggie Classic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a it goes without saying. It goes without saying.
Yeah, we play those guys. But
those guys.
My right-hand man just got the head job there, Sharon Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting. But we're looking forward to it.
So is it going to be like playing against your brother?
Oh, no question. Yeah, no question. Sean Gibbs and I played together. We were in each other's weddings. Our dads played together, and they were in each other's weddings. So we got a history that's like my brother. So, but that day it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, that whole week is going to get different,
be a little
right?
different, right? I'm gonna shake hands before the game, and we're gonna get after it. Then after the game, we'll hug. But for 60 minutes, we're gonna be trying to get after each other.
All right, so I'll get you out of here with this one, Coach. This game tomorrow. What are the keys that you see for both teams to a victory? Because obviously you played one of them.
Right. You got to protect the football first and foremost. I think you got the win up front. Somebody's got to be able to establish the run. Those are the big things, and I think special teams will come into play. I can see some trickery, and I don't know, but you could probably see some gadgets tomorrow from both teams. But just can't make the game bigger than what it is. Just do what you've been doing all season. Both of them are really good teams, or they wouldn't have been here. So don't make it any bigger than what it is. Stay with yourself and just play the game.
Yes. Well, I personally want to say I'm a huge fan of you, your team. I did thoroughly watch that game on Halloween night. I thought it was one of the best HBCU games played this entire season. It was physical. It was so many. It was big plays. You had it all. Also, I like just the candor, the mannerisms that you have on the sidelines, your business, but you still know how to laugh. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, you got to laugh to keep from crying sometimes, man. You give up a 3rd and 21 with the game on the line.
Yeah. Well, I have a good relationship with my athletic director, Dr. Paul A. Bryant.
Mhm.
I'd love to see Alabama A&M and North Carolina Central lock horns one time.
Oh, we got a date open. We definitely got a couple dates open.
Hey, you hear that, Dr. Bryant? Hey, Trey Oliver saying, bring it.
No, I ain't say bring it. I just said we got an open.
We got an open date. Okay, he said we got an open date.
Yes,
we got an open date. All right, well, Trey Oliver, man, I appreciate you.
You know I can talk the talk. I don't need no help with that now.
I know that. Look at it.
That's fishing.
Yeah. Well, Trey Oliver, I appreciate you, man. Best of luck here into the off season. I know you got spring football, all the workouts and all that. Hope you get plenty of rest.
A little bit.
Hope you get time to shoot plenty of let's say 80 sub 90 rounds.
I love it. There we go. Now you
sub
talking.
90 rounds.
Now you talking.
Yeah, and best of luck with everything that goes forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Love your program. Love you as a coach.
Thank you. You do a great job, man.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me.
We good?
And here we are. We're back. I am pleased to be joined with the MEAC commissioner, Sonja Steels. How are you?
I am great. I hope you're doing well.
I am doing phenomenal. Great to be here on Radio Row. Obviously, you have South Carolina State in your conference, and they're back again. I had the opportunity to talk to legendary coach Buddy Pough earlier, and he was just, oozing MEAC.
I know he was.
All MEAC, all day, all the time. Yeah. So let's just start. Obviously, let's just kind of go. I know a lot of the hot button topic is about expansion, but I don't want to come from the aspect of who you looking at, who you want, all that good stuff. My thing is, I know that you have a long-range plan that you established when you took over. And it runs till 2027, correctly?
You are correct.
All right. So kind of talk about and bring us up to speed where that plan is, and also some of the aspects for those that may not know what that plan is.
Yeah. So, one thing about becoming the commissioner is making sure that we have a shared vision. And so our strategic and long-range plan involved all our athletic administrators, student athletes, coaches, and what we want to do, particularly when you talk about expansion, is making sure that we invite institutions who align with us athletically and academically. We have extraordinary academic institutions, and so we got to make sure they fit in. But we plan to expand, but we're going to be methodical about it, and we're going to take our time. So, no, I'm not going to tell you who we're looking at, and we may not be looking back at anybody right now, particularly because we want to focus on our foundation, strengthening our foundation, number 8, making sure that we're doing what we need to do to support our institutions. And so a part of our strategic and long-range plan is, are we going to add additional sports? And one of the sports that we are looking to add in the very near future is men and women's golf. A couple of our golf teams are with the Northeast Conference, and we want to bring those teams back. We have baseball there, and that hopefully we can get that back into the conference as well. So that's what we're looking at, as well as meeting the needs of our institutions. Mental health is always first and foremost. And of course, the academic side, making sure that our institutions have what they need. Everybody with the recent Division I standards. And so we need to be able to get ourselves straight so that when we receive another institution, they're going to fit right on it.
I get that. I feel that. And yeah, I am aware of the Northeast Conference because Howard's women won the soccer,
Absolutely, yeah.
and also you've got your Howard men's and women's golf team.
Correct.
So with all the talk of expansion, I want to just kind of go back and look back at where we've come. Now, you're the first female commissioner of the MEAC.
Yes.
And I want to say again, congratulations to that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So now that you are in the position now as commissioner, because you're very familiar with the territory. You know, you're from Virginia.
Yes.
You got degrees from Old Dominion,
Yes.
and also Hampton.
Yes.
So you know the footprint.
Yes.
Okay, so knowing the footprint and knowing the path of everything, right? Explain like what really interests you the most, or what interested you the most about taking the job, and what is your why that drives you now moving forward?
Wow. So my background is in counseling. So I have no athletic ability other than playing church softball, fell off the bench, ended my career. That's about it. And so the former commissioner, Dr. Thomas, he gave me these opportunities to grow, to learn from marketing to game management. And so he made me step out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I grew within the conference, being there for 22 years, I start to know exactly what's going on, where we've been, where I think we should go.
Yes.
When he said that I'm not going to do this forever, I think you should be the next commissioner, I'm like, I don't want that job. I do not want 8 bosses. You are enough. That's it. He don't pay attention to me, whatever I say. But fortunately, the council, through the interview process, I went through everything, and they chose me. And I think it's because, one, I got the background.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly where we need to go, and I think we all have that same vision of how we need to grow together. The opportunities of being in this position as the first female commissioner is that I do not want to be the last. And so I want to be able to provide those opportunities for women, and I've been able to do that in my position. And that's the main thing. And so as we do our Women in Athletics professional development workshop, as we highlight certain women, and then making sure that the women that I have in my office and in my in the membership have a seat at the table,
Mm-hmm.
and at the seat at that table, they have to have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
They have to have the voice. So that's been a privilege of being in this position.
Awesome. Now, I do have to ask. Obviously, the pending NCAA settlement, the $2.8 billion settlement, roster limits, scholarship, extensions and things like that. What can you share from the MEAC aspect of where you guys sit in that regard?
So for us as a membership, we're still in a betting position as to where we're going to be as far as the settlement is concerned, and that's that opting in the settlement or opting out as a conference or as institutions. There are so many unknowns that are yet to be discussed or verified or confirmed into whether what it looks like to opt in and what it looks like to opt out. And so for us, we just had our midwinter meeting, and we just need to settle down and look at what it could look like and then how we fit in, because of course we can't compete with the Power Fives or the A5s. We need to take it back to what our mission is, and it is to graduate student athletes. We're not here to pay. We can't pay. We're historically underfunded, and so we need to make sure that what we're doing, the way we're recruiting, is the true essence of amateurism football, and knowing that 80% of Black doctors, engineers, and leaders are coming from HBCUs, and let's do what we were supposed to do.
That is great, and I want to say that I really look forward to sitting down with you today. I would love to sit down with you even into the future. I know as a commissioner, you have a real busy schedule. You've got a busy schedule even right now. So just congratulations again on your position, but also good luck moving forward, because I know it's a lot of work, but I'm sure that there's a lot of fun work that comes along with it.
It is absolutely, it's a pleasure. The student athletes are what we do this for. And just to interact with them and see them experience things for the first time, this is what it's made of. But I know you need to ask me some fun things.
I do. Okay. What does Sonja Steels have on her playlist right now?
Okay. All right. So, I love music, and it could go across a whole bunch of things. But I was recently playing like Holiday by Madonna. I am to like Weak, SWB.
Ooh.
Look, Rick Rose. I like it so much. Music. So, my playlist is just going. So, yeah, I love music. And so I'll always got something going on.
Well, that's what's up. And I'm gonna put a special plug in here. I would love. I know they have like the SEC ACC challenge in basketball. I would love to see a SWAT MEAC challenge.
Me too. I would too. I think this is just a sample of what it could be on the basketball side, and I think it would be great.
So, Dr. McClellan, you hear us talking to you.
ESPN, do you hear us talking to you?
Exactly. Hey, sponsors out there, we're talking to you as well. Let's pony up. Let's get it done. But you know what? Sonja Steels, thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful time.
It's been a pleasure.
And we're definitely going to talk some more.
Let's do that.
Because we got a lot more to discuss.
We definitely do. Thank
All right.
you so much.
Sonja Steels, Commissioner of the MEAC. We'll be right back, y'all. And welcome back to the show here on Radio Row. I'm here with
Brigadier General Maurice Barnett, the Commanding General for United States Army Cadet Command.
and Mr. Barnett. How is everything with your profession these days? I know there's so many moving parts, but just kind of talk about what are some of the things that you and your organization are working on these days?
Well, for what we do, it's two parts. So we work with colleges and universities where we have Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps, or ROTC, at the collegiate level. And that's through about 900 colleges and universities that we partner with to commission second lieutenants into the United States Army, either in active duty, the Army National Guard, or the Army Reserve. The second part of that is our partnership with about 1,700 high schools across the country, where we do junior ROTC for high school students. So 2 separate programs, not necessarily connected, but the opportunity to really invest in young men and young women at the high school level and the collegiate level to really build capacity for folks who want to serve in our country.
I feel that. I feel that. Now you're here at the Celebration Bowl. So, what are you guys going to be doing here on site today, and also probably obviously at the game tomorrow?
Yeah, so tomorrow, if I can just skip to that part, we're going to award some scholarship checks to some deserving college students who are in the ROTC program. I think at South Carolina State and Jackson State. Mm-hmm. So we'll acknowledge those folks and give them some money for school, and they're part of that program. But more broadly, we're here to really tell folks about the Army and the opportunities we've had, and quite frankly, the opportunity that I have been fortunate to have in my journey in the Army. So if I could back up a little bit, so I've done just about everything that I now command. So I did junior ROTC. I'm a native of Gary, Indiana, and had the opportunity in high school to participate in junior ROTC, and through that program just opened my mind to the possibilities and my potential to serve in the Army. And then I did senior ROTC at Indiana University in college, and then commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Army, and have been serving on active duty for the last 30 years doing that. And just tremendous opportunity to serve, and been some phenomenal places and met some incredible people along this journey.
That is phenomenal. 30 years, man. That is, wow.
Feels like 10. It goes fast.
And so giving out scholarships and also, inspiring the next generation, I should say, with the Army. So what are some of the benefits that you would say, not just from your own personal experience, but also for those that may ask, like, what else can the Army offer me?
I think first and foremost, you can't put a price tag on this. I think we're the nation's leadership development organization, and that's what our young men and young women get. They get practical, experiential leadership training that takes them anywhere they want to go in life. So that's first and foremost. The financial part is just a residual subset of that. Then they get this practical experience and get to really discover themselves. And then once they join the Army, I think that part really opens their minds and eyes to the opportunities that serving in the Army as a commissioned officer or as an enlisted member in our force really offers you. And that's education opportunities, work opportunities, travel opportunities, and the ability to meet and engage with a variety of people doing a variety of things for our nation.
Yeah, and so obviously you're well traveled. What are some of the places, countries? What are some of just, pop your collar a little bit? Where have you been?
I used to I've literally been to more countries than I have states in our country. And I'll let that sink in a little bit. So probably about 40 countries I've visited. Last year I was living in Germany for the last 2 years. So moved back to the States this July. Lived in Western Germany from 22 to 24, and had the opportunity to command an organization there that did strategic missile defense for the European continent on behalf of the United States. Really got to travel most of Europe, but for me, it was the opportunity to go to Africa. I think that really opened my mind, whether that was in East Africa, Morocco, had the opportunity to visit Zambia, South Africa. So getting to those places for me was just incredible. Then some of the Eastern European places like Finland and Norway and Denmark and Estonia are just incredible places to see and experience. So the journey from that standpoint has just been incredible. That was my second time living in Germany.
Awesome.
Total of 5 years living in Europe just opens your mind to a lot of different experiences with different people.
All right. Well, I'm not sure exactly, how well affiliated you are with the two teams that are going to be on the field tomorrow. But I'm gonna put Mo Barnett on the spot. I'll get you out of here on this. Yeah. Who do you think wins tomorrow?
So that's a tough question. I think they both win. I'm gonna take a safe chance.
You're gonna take the high road. Take the high road.
And I say that for just the fact they're both their conference, MEAC champions, SWAC champions are here. So in some ways they've already won, and then they both get to display their talents here on this national stage and get to be a part of the Celebration Bowl. I think that's winning in and of itself for both of them. The score will be the score at the end of this, but they both get to walk away with their heads held high, knowing that they gave all on the field of friendly strife. And in that regard, I think we're all winners.
That's awesome. Well, I want to just say this has been a great honor to spend this time with you. I want to thank you again for your service. You guys can't be thanked enough. I mean, I know sometimes it could come across as sometimes some people may say a thankless job, but I appreciate you. And I hope that the initiative and handing out the scholarships tomorrow, I hope it generates even more great returns for the Army as a whole. And this is a great thing that you guys are doing. So, Mo Barnett, thank you.
Thanks, Wayne. It's an honor to serve.
Yes, sir. And we'll be back in a little bit with our next guest. All right, welcome back, everybody. I am pleased to be joined with, I'd say, relatively new, pretty new, FAMU Athletic Director Angela Suggs is in the house. How you doing today?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Yeah. I know you would love to. have the team here. But,
Absolutely.
But you still got a process.
We'll be back.
Yeah. Hey, FAMU folk, y'all heard that? She said, we'll be back.
We'll be back. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so as we were kind of talking, off to the side, you still got that new car smell
Right.
to the job.
Yeah.
All right. So when you first came in and you first started, first off, what was that like? What was the feeling that I'm an athletic director of a Division I university?
Well, and at home. And so I'm born and raised FAMU. I was born in FAMU's hospital. I went to FAMU's lab school, K through 12. Went to FAMU for undergrad and even worked in the athletics department from 09 to 17. And then I left and pretty much sold the state of Florida in terms of sporting events and bringing the major events, youth tournaments, and all of that to the state. And got a phone call and came on back. Been there since October of this year, so just over 60 some odd days. And so for me, it was surreal. Both my parents worked at FAMU. They both since passed away, but my mom worked there for 40 years. My dad worked there for about 35 years. And so truly an honor to come back and kind of lead the collaboration of the fan base, stakeholders, both internal and external, to see what that legacy is going to be for the years to come.
Yeah, I feel that. And so what are some of the immediate kind of initiatives that you've kind of, I won't say been thrust into?
Sure.
Maybe a little bit of a combination. The things that you've been thrust into, but also some of the, let's say, the wish list things that you've taken on.
Well, across the landscape of Division I sports, everything has changed. So it's not just at FAMU. It's not just me coming in, being new, but all of us are looking at what's going to be new and what's going to be next, right? With legislation that's hanging out there, post 2020, and just how we experience sporting events across the board, marrying sports and entertainment, and taking a look at what our timelines and what happens in the game experience, right? So in between plays and how we look at how we're going to continue to engage people that can look at everything in the palm of their hands, right?
Yes.
In this 24-hour life that we live in, how then do we get people to stop and then invest in a ticket to come and be with us in person? I think all of us are looking at that. And so we're looking at that at Florida A&M as well. Looking at how we continue to move and operate in this new and exciting space, opportunities that exist now that didn't exist before for our student athletes, and then just looking at how we continue to grow the experience.
Excellent. Now, with brand opportunities
Sure.
and marketing.
Sure.
What's the Angela Suggs approach to marketing, and how does she see it where you can cast it into the future for Florida A&M?
Sure, and we have to break up this bucket that is
Let's do it.
marketing, right?
Let's bust it open.
Sometimes it's become kind of like a catch-all, and everything is marketing. Well, sometimes you got to look at from what we're doing right now, from a communication strategy, media relations strategy, being able to get the word out, because now you can get the word out to millions in seconds, right?
Yes.
And instead of us, continuing to take a look, but then too, we've got to reach everyone. So because even on my timeline, as the algorithm goes, I may miss the post, and as it goes, I may miss it for real. So how is it that we make ourselves almost like the movies? I may not go to the movie but once a year, but I know where to find out what's playing and what time. And I know organically and automatically, I know to look that up. And our fan base is, I didn't know it was a game. Oh, your marketing sucks because you didn't put this and you didn't put that. Well, because marketing is such a big term at this point, that means that some people are still looking at morning shows at 6 o'clock in the morning or noonday lunch shows. You have that group of people that's going to the mailbox every day. Then you got people that's not going to the mailbox but once a month. So we need to get the message out to everyone, but then just in different ways, right? Because word of mouth is still the biggest piece. And if I can get our brand to come out of more mouths every day, because people are going because we say, come on, let's go. And then we go.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest piece. I can see it all day long, but until my friend says, come go, then I might just kind of let it scroll on through.
All right. Now, before I get too far, I got to let you do this. Go ahead and do your Rattler Strike.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you were going to do that all.
There
You
go.
can do it too. Peace
No, I represent another brand of A&M, but we got that out the way. All right. Now we going back.
Yes.
All right. Now, NIL, transfer portal.
Sure.
NCAA class action settlement.
Yes.
From a FAMU aspect, so I just had Sonja Steele here. She was talking about it. MEAC commissioner.
Sir.
Talk about it, Miss Suggs. What is it? What is it in the mind of the athletic director that you can share?
Absolutely. And so it's all about resource optimization, right? Being able to grow our resources for a number of reasons and a number of responsibilities. These three that you just mentioned being added to that list, right? As HBCU Division I FCS institutions, we are always looking at ways to grow our resources, grow the opportunities, and these particular areas are going to require a lot more of that from the NIL perspective. And when this passes, or if it passes, that the direct investment opportunities that now come with the institutions, got to have the resources to be able to invest, to be able to compete. The same thing with then managing the understanding from the student athletes. Because before it was when they go pro, now they need to understand what it means to now go from maybe not having money to now all of a sudden you are getting this. So in the education that goes with that.
So do you see FAMU more so having more like potentially on staff advisement? Do you think that could possibly be an avenue to help out?
So we've got to just take a look at what it means for us, right? In the 60 plus days that I've been here now, it's definitely something that we have to dig into. We have to have solutions for it because we want to be successful across the board.
Yes.
Whatever these opportunities that are there, we want to know as much as we can about it, but then how it fits Florida A&M.
Right.
What happens and how our solutions at Florida A&M aren't going to always be the solutions that are going to be. It's definitely not cookie cutter.
Yes.
Is where I'm going with this.
Yes.
It's going to have to be individualized so that our success can be most efficient and effective for our students.
I got you. Okay, I'll get you out of here on this because we got to have some fun here.
Okay.
All right. Now, for Angela Suggs, FAMU through and through.
Growing through.
Okay. First off, what is the thing that you enjoy the most about going to any FAMU event? First, what's the one thing that you can say I enjoy this first?
The people,
Mm-hmm.
the student athletes, the fans, the people that come. When we're winning, if it didn't go our way on any particular day, just seeing them come back and the pride of Rattler Nation, the pride of the Rattler fans that come and support. That's what excites me
Yeah,
each and every time.
And I know y'all can talk because I can see you can talk too. Because y'all come with that strike first and strike again.
Strike again.
Look, but tomorrow, this game tomorrow, all right? Obviously, FAMU used to be in the other conference. Now they're in conference.
That's right.
Are you split down the middle? No, we just like whoever is whoever, or who you going for?
We are SWAC.
Yes. There's a few MEAC folks around just looking. They gave her the side eye, y'all. They gave her the side eye. But you know what? In all seriousness, I'm looking forward to connecting with you moving forward on some of these platforms that we have, because we can unpack so many different things.
Absolutely.
But I think the biggest thing that I enjoyed about this session right here is we're talking about awareness.
That's right.
And awareness is always the first thing that we can do to get things done. So, congratulations
Thank
on
you so much.
being in your position.
I appreciate
Many happy returns moving forward,
you.
because you guys got a lot of work to do, but it's also not always doom and gloom. A lot of that stuff is fun stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
From one hill to another.
Exactly. Yep. So, here's the Suggs, y'all. FAMU. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, and we'll be right back with our next guest, y'all. All right. Welcome back to the show. I am pleased to be joined with the SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, number 5 in your program from Jackson State University, Irv Mulligan. What's up, my boy?
What's up, boss? How you doing?
Hey, man. Nice to meet you as well. All right. So 1,200 yards rushing this year and double-digit touchdowns. All right. Just talk about just when you set your goals going into this season. Where was this right about where you wanted to be, or?
I wouldn't say it's right where I wanted to be because, like Kobe said, success means success, success means success. So that means success never stopped. I actually had myself being at like 1,800 yards with like 15 TDs, 20 TDs this season. But I mean, what I did, what the help the team helped me do, it was amazing because a lot of people don't know, man, and it's really just God's will. Like, man, I had surgery July 3rd. Our first game was August.
Yeah.
So it's like who else had torn ligaments, high ankle sprain, had surgery, had no summer training, no spring camp or no fall camp. Just 3-4 days of practice, and then the rest of the season just rolling for you and produce how you produce to help his team win. I mean, I ain't bragging, humbly speaking, but I'm just saying like who doing that. So for me to do that, for the team to help me get there, it's amazing. But I would say I'm a little disappointed because even though I got a lot of accolades or broke a couple of records, it's still room to climb. It's still a lot of room to climb, man. You can always get better. So I would say the word I would say, I'm proud of myself for how I bounced back after injury.
Yeah.
But I ain't satisfied.
I like that, man. And so now, after winning the SWAC championship last week, now you had to turn the page. quickly to move to the next opponent. So what's that process been like for Irv Mulligan, man?
This is my senior year, man. It's been a little rough, a lot of interviews, a lot of, curricular activities that, don't involve, the actual game. But man, I was just soaking it all in. It still means a lot to me. But we knew it was gonna be a quick turnaround, and we knew they was resting. So their bones and everything that get solved, our heads, our hands, our feet, everything's still callous, right? So we ready to go. We rolling high, got the momentum going off a championship. We didn't get no time to rest, so we still locked in. We still ready to roll. So when they get hit for one time, they go, it'll hurt them a little bit. So when we get hit, we gonna still be rolling. Cause we just did it. We've been in the championship game, so we know how it feels. We know the intensity, how electric it's gonna be. And like I said, that momentum coming from that game to now, I wouldn't want to no other way.
Yeah, so you see that, so you see that as an advantage to you guys.
I do.
Yeah.
It's momentum.
I feel that, man. I feel that. And so now, talking about your opponent tomorrow, we've seen, I've talked extensively about, the guys that they've got on that other side. Just what are your impressions about South Carolina State on defense, man, that you've seen?
I'll be honest. Like I told one of the guys earlier, the best defense we faced this year is Alabama State. And I feel like they definitely not no Alabama State. I mean, I give them their props. They made it this far, but honestly, their team as a whole ain't seen no team like Jackson State yet. I mean, not to talk trash about no other teams, but you name the teams that they play, who they really played, what competition level is really up there. I don't even think they played any ranked teams. So it's like, who did they really play? They didn't really see no competition. You talk about Morgan State, Delaware State, certain schools that I believe D2 or was D2, if I ain't mistaken, it's like we Jackson State. So it's like they run that 4-1-4-2 box, man. My big offensive lineman up front will move them. So they got them little D tackles, the little tackles, them guards. Then they got a Shrine Bowl linebacker, but I'll be honest with you, I don't see it. I ain't see it yet. You gonna have to show me. That's the type of guy I am. They say I talk a lot of trash. Now I'm just confident. Like I really believe that much in my team. I believe that much in myself. Like, you really gonna have to bring it. You have to prove it to me.
Yeah.
And I'm promising you, if I know you coming to get me, I'm coming to get you first. So I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah. I hear you, man.
I'm ready.
So you talked about your big dogs, Evan Henry,
Kurt
Ford,
DeAndre Towns, Blue. You got Muda. You got some young guys on the front, on the offensive line as well. You got Quay Davis. He's a sophomore at that. He moving stuff. So, man, I'm real confident. Like that's like I said, I wouldn't be able to get my accolades or be this far if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, man. That's why I said, shout out your dogs, man.
I got to. Every time I get every podcast, anybody I talk to, they're the first people I give credit to. I don't really never give myself no credit. This is what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, brother. Now let's kind of go back a little bit now. All right. So you were at Wofford before.
Right.
Right. So what got you why Jackson State for you?
Well, I'll be honest, I was at a PWI, so like the culture and everything is a little different. Wofford is a great school. It's a great school for business and education. So I went there, got like a high class education, met some great connects, met some great peoples, and they put me in some great spots. So after football and everything over, like me and my family still be successful, like on and off the field. You feel me? So it's like it's I would say the transition. It wasn't hard because I'm a part of the culture, so I already knew what to expect. So it ain't different. Like I didn't say, I went to Wofford and I became, feel me? But it's a part of their culture. But I learned some things from them. I learned some new things, and I learned some things from them I could have bring over here, from a football standpoint. But man, why Jackson State is because, of course, I wanted the HBCU experience, but it's just something about that Celebration Bowl when they lost it twice, and I seen it, and I told Coach TC before I even commit, I was like, man, we're going back and get that money. Like I had like 7 or 8 offers coming from Wofford. I was actually suspended my senior year, and I didn't play at Wofford for some small stuff. So I got my degree from there, but it's just that I guess it was like politics, and they was protecting their brand. So they suspended me off the team, and they still wanted me to be there, but I was like, how y'all got me suspended? Y'all didn't even know I'm gonna be part of the season this year. So it's a business, so I didn't sit there and play with them. I just thanked them for everything they did for me. I thanked them for the education. I thanked them for the connections of the people I met and what they did for me. And I just went on about my business. Chose another great school.
All right. 2 quick hitting questions for you, man. First ever football team you played on, youth.
Oh, it was the Buford Dolphins,
Buford Dolphins.
and we went undefeated that year. And actually, we was the only team Buford County in the youth to go to like a state or I would say a state championship and win it. Like you go to we got something called Burton Wells. That's the big like facility for sports and stuff like that in Buford. You go there, you'll see me like a little boy. I'm one of them that got the gold medals. We was the only team that ever won it still to this day. So for me to be leaving a legacy that young is crazy. Like I can go back that far and say I've been a champion, I've been winning. So I know what it takes. Feel me?
Yeah. And also, what's the music that gets Irv Mulligan ready for the game, man? What you listening to?
I'm 23, but man, I grew up around some real thoroughbred guys, some real old heads, some real old cats. So I listen to some old school music, but I like to listen to some old school Lil Bootsy, and then we in ATL, so I'm gonna bump that old school Jeezy, that old school Gucci, man, So I mean, that will get me turned up. Like,
yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Well, man, tomorrow, man, good luck to you guys, man. Looking forward to seeing the matchup. A lot of people are. We've been anticipating this one for a while. Have a great game. Thank you for sitting down with me, man.
Yes, sir.
The great Irv Mulligan, y'all, number 5 in your program. And we'll be back up next here on The Ride and From the Hill podcast. Stay with us. What up, everybody? I am joined with, you know who she is. She loves thee. We've worked together before, and now
this is our first time doing a live.
First time doing a live. We all the way live.
Yes, all the way live. Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, our pleasure. And obviously your team's here, and we've done all the talk all year. It's been a lot of ups and downs too. It's been a lot of emotions, all those different things.
Yes,
so
I've been smack talking all season long, giving out all these opinions about why I think Jackson State's going to do this and why I think that Jackson State is going to do that. And to see this team develop from a 7-4 team to now being 11-2. Getting ready for the big game tomorrow. It's amazing to see that progress.
Yeah. And so, I mean, where are your feelings at? Where are your emotions at? I mean, are you nervous, or is it like, ask me that question at 12 noon tomorrow?
I'm not nervous. I've bridled my tongue against South Carolina State.
Bridled her tongue.
Because when I did Southern, a lot of smack. I was letting it loose versus Southern. And hey, David, I didn't, I was letting it loose. I was letting it know. Same team. I was mimicking my defensive coordinator, Terenzo Quinn. Same team. Do you have any worries? None. So this week I had a chance to do a live with Kobe Orr from Blitz City Podcast, and we basically picked our players on both sides, on South Carolina State side and Jackson State side. I felt like it was a great dialogue. I think this is probably one of the best matched up teams that we've seen in a while. I want to say North Carolina Central versus Jackson State was another one of those games where it just was literally toe-to-toe. Of course, we know Jackson State didn't have a lot of their defensive line, but in terms of matchups, this matchup right here is going to be epic, and I'm excited to see. The talent is already there, the discipline is already there. I feel like it's more so about matchups and coaching.
Yes.
Because the student athletes are ready to play. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm likewise as excited. I have to say though, it's kind of tough coming from an analyst kind of perspective because you see so many different things inside of the matchups, and you see so many different aspects of both teams where you say like, "Wow, they're both really good."
Right, like
And
the wide receivers
yeah,
and
yeah,
then the versus RDBs, or
yeah,
the.
yeah. Let's kind of get into it. You
I
know,
want to get into it.
let's get into it. So first off, we know about the series history, y'all.
Right.
Come on, we got to get here in the SWAC, y'all. We got to clear it. We got to bridge this gap now.
Right.
Now we are on a 1-game winning streak, and I just had the Florida A&M athletic director right here previously, and we talked about, she says they're gonna be back, but she didn't say when, but she said they're gonna be back. But anyway, we in the present, right? So we definitely need to bridge this gap. Okay, so now let's talk about just a few of the things. You see both teams, they score about the same. They both teams get it done in about, kind of different fashions. One team loves to air it out. The other one, we gonna pound you to death with our running game. But we'll be opportunistic when we do throw the ball. And when we throw it, we can be lethal.
Right. And one thing that you can say is one likes to air out the ball, but also one has one of the leading pass rush defenses in
Correct.
terms of stopping the pass or putting pressure on the quarterback.
Correct.
So that's why it's such a great matchup, right? Because you have a team that likes to pass, and then you have Jackson State who likes to prevent the pass.
Correct. So you can see pass offense, you can see the splits. Rush offense, you can see the split. 153 on the ground for South Carolina State. That's not really their bread and butter. But then you've got who we just had on. You just saw Irv Mulligan. He was talking. He's part of that 218 yards per game on the ground. And then your pass offense, again, 185. That's opportunistic 185. You guys led the SWAC in touchdown passes. Even though yardage wasn't where some people would say it's off the charts, but leading the SWAC in touchdown passes says when you did throw it, he knew how to draw those plays up. That shout out to TC Taylor. Okay? And then you see the pass defense, rush defense, all that good
So
stuff.
that right there, the rush defense, that's really an eye opener. And tomorrow we're going to see, right? Because South Carolina State is 19 and Jackson State is 20. One of our bread and butters or claim to fame is the ability to move the sticks through rushing. I've only seen Alabama State hold Irv Mulligan to less than 100 yards.
Yeah, 22 carries for 58 yards.
Yeah, so he's probably the only one. That's probably the only team. But, Marcus Cunningham, Rico Dozier, Traquan Thomas.
Correct.
So that was probably the only game that I saw where, they held him. And I feel like we're going to see in South Carolina State's rush defense what it says on paper.
Correct. Yeah, and they're going to be in the crosshairs. And so a little bit more. So you look at the turnovers forced. 13 interceptions, 14 interceptions. Both teams, they're out. They can take the ball away. Fumbles forced, but then you see turnovers committed. So you remember I said the key things when every Jackson State game, when you guys don't turn the ball over, you guys are just about as you can put it in the bank. When you guys played that last regular season game against Alcorn State, 3 penalties, no turnovers. You saw the end result. I can tell you right now, Timona, you commit low penalties and you don't turn that ball over tomorrow, that confetti may be raining your way. So, but you can see the sacks. You can see the sacks allowed are the same. You can see the total everything else in right here. This is all so similar right here. When you look at this tangible tail of the tape, it makes it very, very comparable. Now, let's go to the next one where we talk about our quarterbacks, okay? Now, obviously, Zod McDonald, he played last week, in relief, and he did a great job. And what I'm hoping for and what you may be able to provide, because I didn't ask TC when he was sitting here. we're pretty confident Jacobian's going to be the starter tomorrow.
And then when you look at their stats, Jacoby and Morgan did not get to play full games. Coach TC from the first 2 games, so Lane College, Southern. I want to say that after when Jacoby got an official nod for full-time starter, right?
Yeah.
So when I look at these 2 quarterbacks, I see that they have similar yardage, similar amount of touchdowns,
Yes.
similar amount of interceptions.
Yep.
And it's amazing because I was picking Eric Phoenix every week in fantasy football. He's going to throw it out. But Jacoby and Morgan is what you call he basically manages the game effectively, right? And he makes, like you said, he makes those passes when he needs to make those passes. And it's time to run. It's time to run. He uses all of the personnel that's on the field. So this is an interesting matchup. South Carolina State has some defensive ends that are scary. Jackson State has a front 7 that I feel like one of the best in the HBCU.
Yeah, and we're gonna look at that coming up here. So let's talk about here. These are some of the key guys in the rushing attacks. Okay, now obviously Irv 12-16, 12 TDs. What I like about Travis Terrell is not just, he's more like your Swiss Army knife. You guys can hand it to him, you can throw it to him. He's he jet sweeps, straight handoffs. You guys can do all that. Morgan can be dangerous with his legs also. We saw him go 74 against Texas Southern earlier.
I feel like, I didn't ask Coach TC, but I feel like Coach TC was like, yeah, you don't really have to run. You can, but you don't really have to because we have an all-one running back room.
Yes.
So Jacoby, like you said, he showed that when need be, if I need to take off, I will. But I feel like Coach TC likes it when he sits in the pocket. That makes sense.
Yeah. And now on the other side, Eric Phoenix, you've seen that he's a very physical runner. Henceforth, by that highlight play made against North Carolina Central when he ran the guy over on the sidelines. But DeAndre Duhart and KZ Adams is their leading rusher. These guys, again, they don't really run the ball as much as Jackson State does. And so what you'll see in the game tomorrow, if their passing game isn't there, these guys better have it in some capacity. All right, so now let's go to the next one. This is the key right here. Now, I had Esaias Guthrie on earlier, and I led off the live portion of the show today with Robert McDaniel. And I'm looking forward to talking to the other 3 guys, one of the 3 guys on the other side, when we get the South Carolina State players coming up in here.
Right.
This is the key matchup in here. So talk about this from your perspective with the interviews and all of the insight that you have with your program.
So we learned in the SWAC championship that Robert McDaniel can pretty much play any position. He played a position that he wasn't even, he never played before, wasn't used to. They switched up the scheme, and he had 2 interceptions. In one game, he was the defensive MVP for the SWAC championship. Esaias Guthrie, he brings that aggressiveness, the grit, and along with the smack talk, can't forget about that. And K5 turned into K1. Man, K1 has grown tremendously, just even in this season, with his pass breakups and his coverage. Listen, this is only 3 of that no-fly zone.
Yeah.
I'm betting on the no-fly zone. I know that Eric Phoenix is used to putting it up in the air. These are some great matchups. The receivers are smaller, but they're fast and speedy. I feel like there's some other DBs that or corners, safeties, and we're not even looking at. You know, I know that Hawkins, number 25,
Yep.
is a ball hawk.
Yep.
And I feel like more than one person will have an impact on these wide receivers.
Yeah, I like this. I love this matchup because, you know, Caden High is their he has their most production, but I think their most talented receiver is 6, Justin Smith Brown. Now, any one of these guys can take the top off your defense if you're not careful.
Right.
And TC, he admitted as such. He said the key thing is when we get in coverage, we got to keep these guys in front of us.
Right.
Because these guys are fully capable. Again, if they get behind you, you know,
They're
gonna take it to the house.
Right.
So the key thing is you got to keep these guys in front of you, and you also got to get physical. And that's something that Robert McDaniel knows how to do. That's something that Hawkins knows how to do, and it's definitely something that Keevert Wiggins and Esaias Guthrie know how to do too.
Dede Bright has that speed too.
Yep. So this is a good matchup to watch. All right. Now we flip it the other way. We look at the Jackson State receivers. All right. I had Jonas Fatillian here earlier, and you'll see. You know, I'll get what he had to say in a little bit earlier. But Janalen Dupree is a guy who's been coming on. You know, he necessarily doesn't have like the amount of yards as the other two guys, but he's just as dangerous. Henceforth on that skinny post touchdown against Alabama State. You know, that was the call of the game for TC. You needed that. But then you look on the other side, Diego Addison, ball hawk. He's probably to South Carolina State what Keevrick is to Jackson State. And then also Quantre Harry, he had both of his interceptions in the same game. But he's another physical guy. And then Jared Washington. What I like about Jared Washington is that he will get close to the line, and he's not scared to come up and defend. But your receivers, Isaiah Spencer, and then also I'll throw Gardner in there as well. You know, this is also going to be
definitely Gardner, Jamil Gardner. I feel like also just putting in those tight ends.
Yep.
You know, Landy, you know, he's been blocking, but that's one of those ace in the hole type of deals because you cannot take down Landy when you get that ball. He has a whole bunch of yards after the catch, or as Jonas Vertillion likes to call it, yak.
Yep. After that catch.
Yeah. So I am excited to see what Coach TC has dialed up, and we're really excited to see what type of schemes that they have for South Carolina State. Like you said, we think that Jacoby Morgan is starting, but wow, I'm pretty sure we threw a haymaker at them for Zy McDonald to come in there and tear Southern anew.
Yeah.
Who is this kid? What is going on? Because they have not prepared.
They had no answer for him. And honestly, I think that they would be doing a disservice if they didn't give him some packages in this game, at least to change it up. All right, now let's go to the interior guys. All right, this is where it's at now for and also I talked to TC. We talk about the offensive line. Irv also talked about his big dogs up front. You know, Evan Henry, Kirk Ford. One thing about Kirk Ford is really upset. He's playing with the chip on the shoulder because he was not named first team all SWAC, and I thought he should have been.
Right.
And he's carrying that chip into this game. And Towns Blue is a mauler. All these guys, all 5 of these guys on that offensive line, 20 sacks allowed in 13 games is an astounding amount, right? Now, on the other side, Aaron Smith is their best defender. His numbers in terms of sacks aren't there because he sees a lot of extra coverage.
Right.
But he is their best defender. Now, their best statistical defender is Rashard Hall, 19. Rashard Hall, 19, 11 sacks. Off the edge, very tough.
Right.
So these guys are going to be nice and challenged by the front. But I like the ability that Jackson State has to not just pass block. They're fully skilled in run blocking because when you have a 1,200-yard rusher, you know how to get it done.
Yes, and kudos to Coach Manny Ramirez for developing those offensive linemen. The coach was at Texas Southern, and Texas Southern was notably the #1 in rushing for quite some time with a 1,000-yard rusher, Ladarius Owens, last year.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So I feel like to see him able to convert Jackson's line to be able to get that type of rushing out of Irv Mulligan, amazing for year 1 to year 2 in terms of rushing.
Yeah, and now we flip it the other way. Now we've got Reed Pulliam, and then there's the aforementioned Shamar Hawkins. I put him with this group because Shamar Hawkins gets down there in run defense. He spends a lot of time in run defense. Southern knew his name, knew his numbers, backwards and forwards. Joshua Nobles, the dog.
Yes.
The
yes.
dog.
And I think also that we're getting is Ashton Taylor, number 30.
Mm-hmm.
He has had some phenomenal, like, changing the trajectory of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in terms of, like, the Alabama State safety.
Yeah.
That he compiled. And then he's just had a standout game. So I'm excited to see our defensive tackles, linebackers, and our defensive edges. I'm excited to see it all, to see how it matches up, because South Carolina State's offensive line is supposed to, battle of the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see who comes out victorious.
Yeah, and Nick Taste, he was on the last team that won the Celebration Bowl for South Carolina State. He was the MEAC Offensive Lineman of the Year. He's their best offensive lineman. And also, likewise, they only allow 20 sacks as well.
Right.
So they're going to be really tested.
Right.
Both offensive lines are going to be tested. If I had to give an edge, though, better offensive line, I would definitely say it would go to Jackson State. Because I always say that when your passing game is not there, you better be sure as hell able to run it. And if you got a good run blocking line, that can travel any day of the year.
Right.
And Jackson State definitely can do that. Yeah. So, Wild Wayne's pick. So, my pick is, and I'll say this, which team can win without its bread and butter better? So, as we said before at the top, South Carolina State likes to throw it. Jackson State likes to run it. But they can pass it when they called on doing so. And so, with all of those things said, Timona Stapleton, I'm going to look you in your eye.
And tell me who you're picking.
And I'm picking Jackson State to win 24-21 tomorrow. That is my pick. Jackson State 24.
So basically what he's saying is heart palpitations and stress throughout the whole game. Battle of the trenches. It depends on who makes the mistake first and who capitalizes on it.
Yep. I expect
a fight. A tiger fight.
I expect a 60-minute battle. I think that this game is going to come down into the final few minutes of the game. Both teams are that damn good. And I just think that this is going to be Jackson State's time, because what I also give the edge to Jackson State to is the fact that you've been here 2 times before. You desperately, there is a dying hunger to get this one done. And I don't think that dying hunger can be overridden by South Carolina State's talent. Are they going to show up and play well? Yeah, they are. But I trust Jackson State a little bit more than I do South Carolina State.
So my score prediction, listen, Jackson State statistically has outscored opponents 113 or 133 points to 13 in the second half.
Yep.
Those stats aren't going to just die tomorrow. We're going off of what they've done week in and week out. 13 points in the last 7 to 8 games. That's a lot of games to only let the opposing team score 13 points.
Yeah.
I think that this particular game is going to start out fast-paced. I definitely think that South Carolina State will try to get Jackson State confused by doing tempo offense, no huddle offense. They'll probably try that the first quarter coming out the gate, just because they have to start the game off fast. One thing that I love about our defensive coordinator Lorenzo Quinn is he's great at adjustments. So I feel like he'll adjust to that tempo offense. I think they tried to do that last week with Southern. At the end of the day, it's going to be about matchups and winning your matchups. I feel like Jackson State will win their matchup. I have Jackson State winning 35 and South Carolina State 21.
Okay. Yeah. And you see it as a 4-quarter game also, more like the pull away from them.
Right.
Yeah. I think, and it's funny what Jerome Brooks said. Jerome, you're right. Said if that's the final score, Adamolekun on standby.
Probably, I don't know which one was more stressful. I think the FAMU game was more stressful. I think that between FAMU and Alabama State, that FAMU game was stress. Yeah. Drew Thompson coming up the middle, popping that ball up with Philip Webb going to score. I want to say that I cried. I was in the press box, so I couldn't cheer or anything. But on that particular play, I cried because I was literally holding it all in. So I'm hoping that we have similar game ending that is more dominant of sorts.
Yeah,
Relieve some of that.
The game for me. You said both of those games because those were your two games. That FAMU game, you just watching that game, seeing how it came down to the fourth quarter, you guys were trailing 21-20. And it was just like your defense was making all the plays, but then your offense kept turning the ball over.
Oh my God.
And then the Alabama State game.
Call it the defense. So when
Yep.
will step up, and then when the defense is kind of slacking.
Yeah. One key too, and I'll say this to all the viewers out here watching too. In the previous couple of celebration bowls, the SWAC champion has gotten into an early hole. 2 years ago, it was 10-0 North Carolina Central. Last year, it was 14-0 Howard. So it's important that Jackson State come out
and
make a statement, or play even. Play even. Just don't get into a hole in the beginning. Now, Timona, I want to ask you too. What are your feelings about the rest factor? Because the players I talked to, they said, Irv said we was ready to suit it up last week. We don't care, just suit it out. We gonna play.
So for me, it's like having a bye week, right? Everybody knows a bye week is good for whoever the team is that gets the bye week. They get an advantage because they get to heal their players. I will say this: if Irv says that they was ready, then they ready. I feel like there's some momentum going into this game, and so I feel like the Jackson State Tigers are locked in and ready to handle business and bring back that celebration ball.
That's awesome. So this is that official preview, y'all. I definitely wanted to get that in while we were doing the show today, and I'm glad I got to do it with my buddy. And I've had a lot of fun watching this season. It's been a little bit rough in moments. Not everybody played a good brand of football out there in the SWAC now. Everybody didn't play a good brand of football, and also, there's some teams out here. There's some teams out here that's looking for some head coaches.
One of them's your team.
Yeah, one of them's my team. You look at some of these coaches. The Dawson Odoms, and from the SWAC, he played in the SWAC, coached in the SWAC. Bubba McDowell, Kendrick Wade, obviously our coach Connell Maynard, you know, so, this is one of those type of deals that in 2024 and on beyond.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if more D2 coaches are going to get a shot at the FCS level. And the reason why I say that is because Coach Chennis was able to basically turn a program around in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And he still has a lot of the same players
Mm-hmm.
on the roster.
Yep.
And he was still able to go undefeated in the MEAC this season. So it'll be interesting to see if some more of the Sam Shades of the world will be able to grab one of those FCS spots. I want to say Sean Gibbs.
Yep.
He was at D2, and he was able to acquire that.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see the coaching carousel. I would hope that they would name their coach sooner rather than later. It being recruiting time.
Well, I'm expecting that my school, will definitely have somebody in place before the end of the year, which only has 17 days left today.
Right.
So, we're expecting that. What do you think about the swirling about Michael Vick possibly with Norfolk State?
I see his degree.
She said, I gotta see his degree to believe that.
I ain't heard that.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, Sean Gibbs got there. Now let's talk about transfer portal, okay? Now, I had Trey Oliver on earlier from North Carolina Central. And when I asked him about his best running back, Jamari Taylor, he said, the only way I can get him back is I got to pass the offering plate. Yeah, he said
that's the day and age. And I asked the legendary coach Buddy Pugh, and he said it's just a sign of times.
Yeah.
With regard to offering your players or players products so they can chase. I do think that the newly regulated 105 players on a team, I think that will probably level it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't go into the transfer portal.
Yeah, and everybody can't be D1 either. Everybody can't be FBS. Everybody can't be on these big rosters that you want to be on. But yeah, this list is going to continue to evolve over the coming days. This initial transfer portal period is going to close on the 28th. So you're going to see a flurry of names that are going to come in. And unfortunately, probably after the game tomorrow, you're probably going to see some exodus from both of the participating squads. I mean, that's the reality that we're in. Yeah, they have 15 days. Well, 14 days after tomorrow. Pretty much.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Now, I want to ask you, I'm gonna skip ahead one more. I want to ask you about this. This has been my thing. This has been the thing that I've kind of talked about here. I want to talk about retreads and recycles. Well, what does Timona Stapleton think about recycled or retread coaches?
I don't think there's anything wrong with retreads. Just because the coaches that want to play in the SWAC are going to accept the salary. They have experience working at some of these programs, so they know what to expect, and they work with less.
Mm-hmm.
When you try to go make a splash hire for somebody who's not acclimated to the HBCU experience, or maybe even FCS, because if you're at the D2 level, you're definitely working with less. If you're from a community college range, you definitely know about making stuff happen, working with less.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to make these splash hires, it doesn't prove the longevity of the program. I don't think there's anything wrong with retreads. I do think that folks have to be also kind of like cognizant of the times that we're in. You have to have things in place in order for your basketball team to succeed. They're not just going to do that.
You're right. You're absolutely right. That's very well said. Where I've kind of felt about the retread and recycle coaches, I've kind of just felt like, in some respects, we need to, in our space, we need to have more of fresh views, more innovation, because football and also just college athletics as a whole is more of a business now. I mean, as much as we don't want it to be a business, it's a business. It's no longer just an amateur thing. It's no longer, you come and I mean, now it's parents are asking straight up, how much you giving my baby to play for your team?
On the table now they're asking, but I also think that sometimes these parents be overpricing their kids. And
Hey, come on. Come on.
don't be out here asking for NIL money and you go over here doing piggyback plays.
Exactly. And look, everybody can't be a superstar. And we'll say this. With coaching, yeah, I never would want to get into coaching. I never wanted to get into coaching before. I definitely don't want to do it now. I pray for all y'all. So one thing that we're gonna have coming up, we're leading up here to the 3:00 hour, 3:00 Eastern hour here. We're looking, Franklin. You said got to have a strong collective if you want to have some strong talent. You 100% correct about that. Yeah, and we'll talk about collective. We'll finish this segment on the collective. But I just want to tell everybody we're waiting. We're coming up on the 3:00 hour. We're scheduled to have the South Carolina State contingent, Chennis Berry and players. They're going to come in. We're leading up to those interviews, and then that'll close out our Radio Row Day. Now going back to collective, what are some of the collectives? I know you guys have the 1400 Club that does some fundraising, but what other collectives do you know of that Jackson State is trying to work on?
So the Blue Bengal it's not a collective, but they do a lot to support athletics in terms of funding for different projects or different things that athletics needs. For us, I think HBCUs especially, it's nice to have an NIL collective, but to go along with the NIL collective or to kind of subsidize it, having a strong fan base that supports them, showing that you care about the students, being support at the games. It's not always just about the monetary dollar, and I also think it's the type of kids that you target, right?
Correct.
So, Coach TC and Coach O have developed a recruiting mechanism where they get a grassroots of Mississippi that seen Jackson State or are from the state of Mississippi and want to play close to home.
Mm-hmm.
And it resonates with them to hear, I'm from Mississippi. That's what Coach O said. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, and Coach TC is from Macomb, Mississippi. So getting that homegrown talent, of course, the talent is actually, we're being competitive with the ULM, UNLV, and all those southern lower tier FBS, USM. We are competitive with all of those.
Yeah.
And then just utilizing the coaching tree. Coach Jamancy Jones, who was a defensive coordinator at Louisville, Mississippi, at the Louisville High School. And he is able to basically, you got players that are reaching back out to him like, hey, coach, I want to come play with you.
Yeah.
Played underneath him, and they are all out dogs. So it'll be interesting to see how HBCUs evolve over time with the collective and also with the 105 roster.
Correct. Absolutely. So I've enjoyed my time here with you.
Yes,
we
thank you.
We previewed the game for everybody, and like I said, we're just waiting for South Carolina State, the players, everybody that's gonna come in, and we're gonna have some interviews. But stay with us here on the show. We got more to come.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and we're back. I'm here with Sean McCaskill from Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity. Sean, nice to meet you. Tell us about what you guys are doing here with the Celebration Bowl.
Thanks for having us. We've been participating in the Celebration Bowl maybe for the last 3 years. What's been happening is that the Divine Nine, we came together to help support the Celebration Bowl. So for us, we have a long history in our fraternity. Our second chapter, Beta chapter, was founded at an HBCU campus. So we have a great relationship with our HBCUs. And one of the things that we wanted to do is just make sure that we're staying involved with that because, again, HBCUs and the history of it and how it's committed to people that look like us is the foundation of who we are as an organization. So to be able to partner with the Celebration Bowl is something that we love doing.
That's awesome. And so, as a part of this initiative, are you guys having any events tonight or in the morning? Is there affiliated with the fraternity?
No, not exactly for the fraternity, but for the D9 as a collective.
Okay.
One of the things that the council of presidents with the the NPHC, one of the things that they've been doing is doing a lot more joint collaboration efforts. So everything that we've been doing has been about the Divine Nine and not just one organization.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Yes.
Correct. That's awesome. And so, so is this with this initiative? Is this something that you're looking to also, do like some recruitment? Is it any kind of career opportunities for people or young students or just anybody of the sort?
Well, the one thing about Alpha is that we have a long-standing relationships with our communities across. We're an international organization,
Right.
So the recruiting aspect is that no, we don't just gonna go out and just start pointing and start trying to recruit. Again, we go out, put in the work, and and then hope that that example will inspire someone else to want to become a member of the greatest fraternity in the world. You know what I mean? So for us, our work is always going to speak for us.
Yeah. So you said the work is just it's ongoing. It's always an
It
ongoing
don't stop.
vineyard.
It
Never
don't stop.
stops.
It never stops.
All right.
It never stops. Every day that I wake up, I'm blessed to be the executive director of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. There's a way that we move, and the way that we move is going to attract people to our organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So in terms of the organization as a whole, do you know right off top of hand how many members you add each year to the fraternity?
How many we add each year to the fraternity?
Uh-huh.
That can vary. That can vary. You know what I mean? So, we have both alumni and college brothers, what I mean, that would come through the organization. So throughout the year, we probably average between maybe about 4,000 to 5,000 new members, into our organization.
And
And it's a selective, so it could be more, but everybody's not meant to be an alpha. So we're okay with that. There's other D9 organizations, fraternities out there. So again, we have, people that's going to be attracted to us, and just like they have people that's attracted to them. You know what I mean? So we believe in sharing. Again, so you remember, if you understand the history, we were the first organization that was established in 1906. And I always tell people this is that our founders, which we call our jewels, are probably the most selfless individuals that I know, because one of the things that they did was they could have just kept it at Cornell University and that was it, but they gave it away. So they allowed it, and then because of it, it just moved from Cornell to Howard University. And then if you look at the majority of D9 organization, they were founded at Howard University. You know what I mean? So again, alphas were there first, and then the presidents, then spawned on other organizations establishing themselves. So we believe in sharing.
Yeah.
We don't want it all.
Yeah. So about this evolution and all of the transformation that continues to take place, what would you say to any person that's watching this or could watch this that could potentially be on the fence about whether they want to join Alpha Phi Alpha?
Well, I'm not a salesman for Alpha. I refuse to be a salesman for Alpha. I'm just going to go in. We're going to put the work in. That's what we do. That's the passion that we do. It's the selfless dedication to our beloved Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And then for us at the headquarters, we've been really been focusing on our members. Because one of the things, if you look in our society, what are we looking for? We're looking for new leaders. That's what we do. We develop leaders. So what we've been doing is we've been really going back and being intentional about developing our members to go out and lead our society. We know it just happened in November. So what we're going to do, we're not going to sit back and complain. It's time for us to even work even harder to establish more leaders. So like now, once we establish those leaders, now we go out and then we go and take over in Congress. We have, probably out of all the organizations, we have the most members of Congress. They're alphas. You know what I mean? So we want more. We want them all. You know what I mean? So if you want to get in, if you want to be a leader, or you want to be developed, that's Alpha Phi Alpha all day, every day.
Hear that? If you want to be a leader, Sean McCaskill is telling you. He's not trying to be a salesman.
No,
but
he
he's
can't sell.
Here we go. Sorry about that, y'all. I had the mute button on. All right.
Y'all just missed the best intro.
All right.
You had it on mute.
I am
don't know if we
pleased.
can do it again like that.
I am pleased to be joined by the CEO of Red Lobster. Mr. Damola got the fresh new smell on the position, and Red Lobster. So title sponsor of the band competition.
Yep.
That's going down, man.
It's tonight. Band of the year tonight.
Yeah.
We'll be the title sponsors, and we're excited to be here.
Yeah, man. So I want to start off though first because they told me you played football at Brown, man.
I did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
we were okay at football, but the band wouldn't quite measure up to what we're going to do tonight. There's some real talent here tonight. But I played at Brown back in the day.
He said it ain't the same. It ain't the same. It's not the same.
Everybody does their best, but there's some talent out here tonight for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, so taking over Red Lobster, man, being in the position that you're in now, what are some of the initial things that you've been working on in your first early portion of your tenure?
Yeah, listen, it comes down to two things: our guests and our teams, right? So finding ways to create new reasons for people to come visit our restaurants. We rolled out a new menu, a bunch of new items. We rolled out some new specials and a happy hour, right? So we came in right away, said, what can we do? Did a lot of that right off the bat. At the same time, we're looking at our teams. Because you know how you take care of your guests? Is by taking care of your team members who take care of your guests.
Yes.
So we're spending a lot of time investing in our people, investing in wages, investing in benefits, making sure that they feel heard, that they have a clear plan, a clear direction. So a lot of team management and a lot of guest management, and that's been the focus for my first couple of months.
Awesome. Now, in terms of just like the food in the menu, so talk about what led to a few of the menu changes.
Okay. You want to tell me what you're hinting at? Or?
The endless,
I figured.
endless shrimp.
Yeah, listen, it didn't work out the way it was done. The decision to take it off was, I call it doing math, right? The math didn't work out. But it doesn't mean, you never know what the future holds, right? If we did it, it'd look different. We'd tweak a few things. But right now, we got for example, we got 3-year-weight shrimp on the menu. We got a bunch of new items. We got lobster pappardelle. We got
Come on with that new stuff,
there's a lot to be excited about, Listen, come by and check it out, and you'll find something you love, I promise you.
Because one thing, man, we love us some seafood, brother.
Absolutely.
We definitely love some seafood. And you know what, man? We love them cheddar baked biscuits, too.
Yeah, good. We got the biscuits. They're not going anywhere. And if you like hush puppies, we brought those back brought those back a couple weeks ago too. In fact, I just made in the spirit of celebration, I decreed for the weekend in Atlanta. Anybody who shows up to the game, supports these teams, supports the bands, anybody who shows up with a ticket from either Band of the Year or the game to any of my restaurants in Atlanta will get free hush puppies on the house, right? So
you heard that.
Go get free hush puppies with your purchase at any Red Lobster for the weekend to celebrate you guys and to celebrate the fans.
Hey, that's what's up. Now, with the event tonight, the band of the year.
Yeah.
What are you looking to? What are you hoping that this sponsorship? Where do you see this partnership going? You see it just sprouting out even larger? Do you see it going even more main scale, like just like more competitions, or how do you see that?
Well, it's more than a partnership for one event. It's reconnecting with the community.
There it is.
Right? Because
there it is.
Red Lobster has been very important to the African American community and vice versa for a long time, really since they opened the first restaurant 60 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a staple in Black households. We know that, right? So this is about being more explicit with that relationship and supporting the community that's supported us for a long time. Right?
Yeah.
Shining a spotlight on HBCUs, shining a spotlight on the talent and what people are achieving, the excellence that's out there on the field and on the bands.
Yeah.
And so this is just the beginning of that, right? So which sponsorships, we'll figure all that out, but we'll be part of the community. We'll be part of the conversation.
Awesome.
Sure.
Now, obviously, you're going to be here for the game tomorrow as well.
Yep.
And what are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow besides, obviously, a tight 60-minute game that goes into 4 overtimes?
Man, you just want a good game, isn't it? Right? So it's just about listen, these kids work hard. I've been there, and I know how much work they put in throughout the year, from training camps in the fall, the discipline, the hard work. They can't go out the way they want to. They can't do the things they want to. They're just focused for the season. And so I know these kids have been working hard.
Yeah, man.
This is the pinnacle for the year. This is the highlight. This is the celebration. So it's about the kids. It's about showing them, showing what they've worked hard for and coming out here and trying to get a win, right? So it's all about them.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
So what's next for Damola? I mean, now that you've done some of the initials with Red Lobster, I mean, what else is next for Damola? Like, what does Damola like to do when he's not in an office?
Running restaurants, I try to spend as little time in the office as possible. So I'm in the restaurants as much as I can. And people ask me what I do for fun. Right now, I run restaurants for fun. Right? This is pretty much my focus. Right, getting this brand back to where it belongs. You can tell I'm a big sports fan, so I'll go to games. I'll do some fun things, but it's it's all about Red Lobster right now. It's all about bringing it back to the top, making this the great iconic brand that it once was, and that's what I'm going to be working on.
Well, we all are privileged to have been able to see you here.
Good.
Spend some time with us, man.
Good.
I know you're a busy man. I know you got to get going, but Damola, thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Hey, y'all, take this man up on this offer, man.
See you guys at the restaurant. I'll see y'all there.
All
Absolutely.
right. So we'll see you. All right, and we'll be back here. We got John Grant, the executive director of the Bowl, coming up next.
Cool. All right.
And welcome back to the show, everybody. I am pleased to be joined by the executive director of the Celebration Bowl, Mr. John Grant. How are you?
I am fantastic, Wayne. Thank you for having me today.
Hey, it is our pleasure to have you on this platform. And as part of being on this platform, I have to just go right into this. All right. Take me back and take us all back to the origins when this bowl and this game was conceived.
Well, it was started. The idea of it some time ago. when we initially launched the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge, ESPN, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, and the Southwest Athletic Conference back in 2005. And the idea of that game was to give players, the champions, a bowl experience to start the new season. And from that, Commissioner Dennis Thomas, again working with ESPN, said, "Hey, we should have a bowl game." But it took him like literally 10 years to get his end of season bowl game. It took him more than 10 years to get the presidents of the MEAC to agree to it because they wanted to send them and coaches primarily wanted to go to the NCAA playoffs. And, in late 2014, there was an agreement reached that was presented to the Council of Presidents for the MEAC, and they approved it. So the SWAC wasn't an issue because they had their own championship game. Correct. And we're not going to the playoffs. They're champions. And so from there, then the process began, and some calls were made because they wanted to do it in Atlanta, and they reached out to me to have conversations around that. And, as we went through the discussions, it was like, hey, why don't you come and help, be a part of this? And that's how I got involved to really get it going. Yes. Because that was in 2015.
Wow. Now, the name, the Celebration Bowl, were there any other
ESPN events when the idea was conceived and finalized was, what do we call it? And there was a brainstorming session around that. And, Mark Wright, who was on the team at the time, came up then. He said, well, what is this? It's a celebration of, the heritage and tradition. So let's just call it Celebration Bowl, and that stuck. And you can see that. I think that was probably one of the most brilliant things in terms of naming this game, because it can mean so many different things.
Right.
You're celebrating the champions in football. You're celebrating the history and legacy of our institution. You're celebrating because of the time of the event, going into the holidays, which is a celebration window. Oh yeah. So you're in between Thanksgiving, which is a celebration of family, and Christmas, which is a celebration of the birth of Christ and giving and supporting. Look, it can't be any better than that.
Yeah, I feel that. And, I've been watching the game every single year. Now, the MEAC leads this thing 6-2. With the MEAC, like, just from your stance, like, what do you think has kind of really led to the MEAC winning and having the upper hand in this series?
I think that it's maybe the type of football that each conference plays, because the games have all been close. Yeah, I mean, they come down to the wire. Last in 2023 was an overtime game with with Jackson State and North Carolina Central with a drop pass. Yeah, and so the game. So last year was a drop pass or an interception with Howard in the last minutes of the game. Yeah. So that was close. I mean, if you go back and look through the history, the games have literally gone down to the wire. Yes. And that's what championship football is about. So, the ball bounces this way or that way. And I think that when some people want to say, well, because the MEAC has more time. I don't agree with that. Right. Because if that were the case, then they'd all be blowouts. Right. And that's not the case. I think it just comes down to, and Florida A&M just proved that last year with their win. I think we're going to have a really great game this year. And so you show up to play the game. Yeah. And as a result, coaching, playing, X and O's in execution, that's what makes a difference. Yeah. And so now you're in your 9th year. Tomorrow's the 9th edition. So with next year being the 10th edition, where do you see the evolution of this game? What are some of the potential opportunities that you think could even make this game even more? Where would Mr. Grant love to see this game eventually ascend to? Super Bowl-esque.
So when you think about Super Bowl Sunday, what do you generally do on Super Bowl
Sunday? Oh, we party, man, and everybody gathers around, and that's the only thing you do.
So that's what we want. We want nothing less than that, because not everyone can come, but everyone has an opportunity to win. People coming together. You know, you go to Super Bowl parties. How much of the game do you really watch?
Oh, I know. I watched the whole thing.
A lot of your friends,
but a lot of the friends, they just there.
But what the NFL has done such a fantastic job with over the 55 plus years that they've been doing this is that they've created fandom around for the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter who's playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what I say to people, because our history has been in the HBC space. Well, if my team's not in it, I'm not really wanting to go. Mm-hmm. But my retort to that is, well, if I walked up to you and said, hey, I have 2 tickets to the Super Bowl, are you going to ask me who's playing?
Nope.
You're going to take them and go,
I'm there.
So what creates that, Wayne, in my conversations with teams, my conversation with the league, what makes the Super Bowl is not. It's what happens leading up to it. Because once you kick off, it's a football game. Mm-hmm. So just like we're here today at Media Row, mm-hmm. This was an idea that came out of what happens around the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
And it gives our media like you and others that are here today an opportunity to really amplify what goes on around this weekend. And the more we amplify it, the more then people are wanting to be a part of what it is, whether they're watching it, which is important.
Yes, sir.
Or they come, which is also important.
Yes, sir. So also with the title sponsor, Cricket Wireless, you know, they had announced last year that they had re-upped, right? So talk about just that relationship with Cricket Wireless and how they are with the game and just the events.
Well, you can't get a better partner than Cricket for us. An Atlanta-based company mm-hmm. Who has a commitment in this space, who actually come to the table, you know, all in.
Yes, sir.
You know, they see the value in the asset, what this asset can deliver as an ROI back to their business, and they're seeing those numbers as well too. Mm-hmm. So this is something that, in a mutual way, that has been beneficial to both sides, and we appreciate that relationship. And it's the same thing that we're excited when we announced that Red Lobster signed on as the title sponsor of our Band of the Year National Championship.
Yes.
Taking place tonight.
Yes. Yes. And that's the thing I love about this whole experience. It's an experience. And to your point, you said like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's got media day. The Super Bowl's got the NFL experience. The Super Bowl's got all these. I had the pleasure of going to the Super Bowl when it was in Detroit. Mm-hmm. Super Bowl 40. Mm-hmm. Went to all of it. And yes, you're right. You're right. So I'll get you out of here on this one. All right. We talked about the evolution. We talked about the way it goes. For anybody that's never been to the Celebration Bowl, could potentially be thinking, should they come to a Celebration Bowl? From the executive director, give a quick marketing pitch for this game.
If you come once, I assure you will not miss another. We have fans, people who are not affiliated with any school, who come to this game. Mm-hmm. You know, when you look at our makeup, probably about 57% of the people who come have no affiliation with either school or even the conference. You know, they're here because it is an experience. They're here because, Atlanta's a great city to visit. Number two, they're here because we're in one of the greatest venues in the world.
Yes, sir.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium,
yes,
which
sir.
also gives experiential with itself. Everyone wants to be around a championship level event. And so our objective is to make sure we have a three-pronged mission for this event. Number one, that we create a world-class, second-to-none experience for the student athletes. Mm-hmm. Because it's hard to get here, and it should be hard to get here.
Absolutely.
But when you get here, we want them to feel that what being a champion feels like. Number two, we want a world-class, second-to-none experience for the fans who decide to come. Mm-hmm. That when they come to this event, when they come to this weekend, it's not like any other weekend that they go to, regardless of the event. It's different. And every event has its own. But when you come to the Cricket Celebration Bowl National Championship Weekend, it's just a difference that we want to create. And the final thing is that we want to create that same thing, a world-class, second-to-none experience for the people who watch. So that the presentation of the event is at a very high level. ESPN does a wonderful job by putting us first on network television. Number two, they pull out all the bells and whistles. So if you watch the Cricket Celebration Bowl, it's just like watching an NFL game.
Yes.
With the number of cameras, sky cam, all of that. We're one of the very few bowl games who have all of that to present it, so that when you're watching, it's world class. That you can say, man, that's a great event. And they can look, they see people having a great time. They see the energy that's involved. And they're learning when they see our HBCUs, they see our Greek letter organizations. They see all these people wearing their paraphernalia who have nothing to do with the teams on the field. That is our mission. That's our objective. And I want to, Wayne, I want to thank you guys. Yeah. I want to thank you guys because it was media like you who kept the lights on when no one else was watching, who talked about this event, and when we were really trying to just get it going.
Yeah.
And now that we're here today and we see this room full of people and growing every single year in this media room, we want you to continue to do that because you guys have our support. No question about it, because you've given us yours.
Hey, I appreciate that. And, to his point, ladies and gentlemen, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Super Bowl 53, already had a CFP National Championship. Going to be the host of the CFP National Championship this year. Going to be a host of Super Bowl 61. Super Bowl 61. Or 1962.
Don't forget the World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup also. So this is a world-class venue. So to his point, if you're on the fence about coming,
you need to come.
You need to come.
Because those are the elements. There is no other game that's played relative to at the FCS level. It doesn't exist in a venue like this.
Exactly.
You can't go anywhere. The closest thing at this level would be the Bayou in the Superdome, but the Superdome and Mercedes-Benz Stadium are night and day. You got a venue here, and I congratulate Arthur Blank and his organization for building an event. And let me give you another fact. Mercedes-Benz Stadium is the number one venue in terms of the number of major events that are hosted in that venue in the world.
Wow.
In the world.
Wow.
Hey, Kendrick Lamar's been announced. He's coming next year.
Absolutely.
So who got Taylor Swift? I mean, you name it, all the big names, they've been in this ring, including the Cricket Celebration Bowl.
Cricket Celebration Bowl. So we're looking forward to a great game, because one question I'm not going to ask you as the executive director is, who do you think is going to win? Because in his position, he already won. Mr. Grant, thank you. Thank you for this time. And congratulations on getting another Cricket Celebration Bowl edition off the ground.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck to you, your staff, your team, everything. And I definitely look forward to talking to you in the future.
Thank you.
He's John Grant, Executive Director, Celebration Bowl, and we'll be back with more here from Radio Row.
Can you hear me? Good.
Yep. All right, we are back, and I am joined by Pete Derzis, who is one of the founding fathers of the Celebration Bowl and former ESPN executive, and he also is one of the architects of not just the Celebration Bowl, but he was inducted into the Celebration Bowl Hall of Fame.
Good things happen once in a while, Wayne. It was a wonderful night. It was a very humbling experience. I'm most appreciative. As you know, it takes a team effort, and I was fortunate to have a wonderful team of people at ESPN when we helped create it, and great relationships with the two conference commissioners. And one thing led to another, and we decided to create the Celebration Bowl, and we got the two conference champions. So it's the Black National Championship game. And then we got the right city, we got the right stadium, we got the right hotel, we got the right title sponsor, and it's really come together very neat, very nicely.
And I love this segue because we went from the executive director of the game, John Grant, and now we're here with you, Pete. And just kind of
John's a dear friend.
So I asked Pete. I asked John about just the origins and everything that went into it.
Yep.
And he talked about it. What I want to ask you though is, being an executive, what were some of the potential hurdles you saw from the broadcast aspect of this, getting this off the ground?
Well, let me go back a little bit and
Sure.
answer that in a broader way, if I may. Right?
Do it.
We now I'm going to go back. This Celebration Bowl is 9 years, going to be 10 next year. All right, 9 years old. But the real story behind it all is what happened 23 years ago, when I met with Commissioner Vowles of the SWAC at the time, Commissioner Thomas of the MEAC at the time, and what we did at that point was created the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and ultimately what we at ESPN recognized is that the HBCUs were being underserved. We didn't have enough content, and we were everything to everybody, but we didn't have enough content in HBCUs. So we wanted to create something special to kick off the year, and that's really how this all originated. So you fast forward now to the Celebration Bowl. Here we had this really quality event. We tied the event. We had contracts now with both of the conferences, so we aired and streamed, linearly and streamed as well, content. And then what we did is Commissioner Thomas kept saying, it'd be great if we could have a bowl game, great if we have, a bookend. We did something on the beginning of the year with the MEAC SWAC and do something on the end of the year. And so one thing led to another, and it's come together great. And John's done a great job of, being the right person at the right time to bring it all together. So he's done a remarkable job of building the business in Atlanta.
Yeah, and I love that. And, one of the big things that a lot of the viewers that have wanted to know a lot about some of the origins, but also what about the future?
Well, it's in good hands. Atlanta's proven to be the right location for it. My guess is, John continues to add elements to it. They've added for instance, you don't have, Battle of the Bands. They do different things for players here. The fans come from all over. It's not just, like I asked you about your logo from the angle. I couldn't see what you were wearing today, but I do know this much. Tomorrow when I go to that stadium, there'll be 25 different schools represented.
Yeah.
And so fans are coming from everywhere. And to see their friends, their fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, it's a family affair. And so I think things are really positioned well for the future.
That's phenomenal. And, we know I talked to John about like the title sponsors. I know you've had Air Force Reserve in the past.
Sure.
Now you have Cricket.
Cricket's been a great partner. Yeah, absolutely. And other sponsors have come on board and see value in it. I mean, it's really become an event in which everybody can take something out of and put something in, and that's been the win-win for it all. So been thrilled with the success of it, seeing how it's grown so remarkably well. It's been wonderful.
Now, I guess I'll get you out of here on this, Pete.
Yes.
What more would you say that for a fan and a follower aspect, what more can you say from a fan and follower aspect can they do to help with the future success of this bowl game? Well, and also with the MEAC SWAC Challenge also.
I think attending it is very important. We got to continue to have great venue, filling the venue, getting people in the building, regardless if your team makes it or not.
Right.
But I do think, in addition to that, supporting your school, going to those games. These schools traditionally have a real challenge financially.
Yes.
To pay the bills.
Yes.
And to continue to offer broad-based support, because it's not just football. Football's driving it financially, but they're providing activity for hundreds of young people in all different sports. So if you're an alumni of one of the schools, or you're in the city of one of the schools in the HBCUs, go to those games, support it, write a check, pay some cash. It's going to be put to good use. So that would be my recommendation for people on how you support the enterprise.
I love that. Well, Pete, I just like to just say thank you for everything you've done for this bowl game, also for HBCUs as a whole.
Thank you.
The whole vision, the passion, everything behind it's been wonderful.
Well, listen, all the best to you, continued success. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Take care now.
All right.
Thank you.
Pete Derzis, everybody. And we've got some and as we continue to work, towards the end of our set here today, we've got our players from South Carolina State have entered the building, and we've got guys that are ready to come and sit down, and we're going to do some more interviews here. We've got some position coaches. We've got Coach Chennis Berry's in the house here. I can see a few of I see Nick Taste over there, offensive lineman of the year in the MEAC. He's over there. So we got some people that are getting ready to come through, and we're going to finish up here in the last half an hour of our show with a lot of South Carolina State content. South Carolina State Bulldogs all the time. They are the MEAC champions. They come into this game with a 9-2 record, and with their record, you can see a little bit of their updated. Here's the schedule that they had. They started off the season with a 22-18 loss down there in Tallahassee on August 31st. But then you saw things started to turn. They went and they won at the Citadel. They got a payment game there against Georgia Southern, but then they stomped out North Carolina A&T 45-25. But the most important wins that they had, the two that you'll see, Tennessee Tech on October 5th, 22-20, winning on the road, but also that Halloween night, that extravaganza with that win 24-21 over North Carolina Central. That game was a very physical fist fight, 60-minute fight. And we had Trei Oliver on a little bit earlier from North Carolina Central. He talked about how that game was. And this is essentially how these guys have made their way down here to Atlanta for the second time in 4 years, looking to return back to the top of the throne as Celebration Bowl champions. We've got a lot of things that we're going to do, and they're bringing a couple players, bringing our first player over right now. So, come on, bring them. Yeah, so they're bringing them. They're bringing them over. So we'll be right back here just in a second. And I just noticed that I had you on mute, my brother. So this is Justin Smith Brown, number 6 in your program for South Carolina State. He's part of the triumvirate with Caden High and also with Inaj Carter. So since November 23rd, when you guys walked off that field against Norfolk State, what have you guys done actually to keep yourselves really just like keep the edge on, man?
The main thing is taking care of our bodies. After 8 game stretch, a lot of guys were banged up. So the main thing was get back healthy so we could get back swinging, and really just stay in focus. The task at hand was to go to Celebration Bowl, and we wanted to stay ready so we have to get ready.
Yeah, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I feel that, man. And so I guess like at this point now where you guys have been practicing against yourselves, you've been doing, some one-on-one good against goods and all that stuff. How badly now are you ready to just hit somebody else other than your colors?
We've been ready, going against our brothers. We know what to expect from them, but to go against somebody that you're not seeing every day, it just lets you know where you stand as far as competition. So we're ready to go compete.
Yeah. Now tell me about you guys are getting ready to face a secondary in Jackson State. You're looking at Keevrick Wiggins, first team All SWAC. Then you've got Robert McDaniel, Esaias Guthrie, a few of those guys on the other side, man. What do you think about their secondary and and then talk about how you guys match up with these guys?
The main thing is we respect all, but we fear none. We've been priding ourselves on playing big all year, so we look for nothing less than just keep playing big.
Yeah, I feel that. So with yourself and Caden and the Naj, man, how are you guys off? I mean, I know how you guys are on the field, but how are you guys off the field?
We brothers, my room, we have the 4 receivers, so we share 2 a room, and we got the door open. We walk in each other's rooms all day. We just playing, But when it's time to focus on the task at hand, we're focused. So the good thing about that is we know how to flip the switch. Like we'll be chilling one day playing, and then the next when it's time to get money, it's time to get money.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you guys root for each other,
Yes,
So let me ask you this now, man. Out of all of the routes that you've run, touchdown catches, all this stuff, man, what would you say is your one moment of the year for you, Justin Smith Brown? What's your favorite moment in that number 6 jersey?
I have to say my favorite moment was the central catch. To set the tone in the game. We knew it was a big game, and we knew we wanted to come out aggressively. So to be able to set the tone like that.
Yeah, man. And so we had Coach Trei Oliver on earlier from North Carolina Central. Just before he came on, I was talking about that Halloween night battle, man, and what a game it was. So would you say, being that was your closest game to date, since obviously, the Tennessee Tech game and things like that, what can you draw from that game that prepares you for tomorrow?
The main thing was we faced adversity well. We knew we were going to face some downs and ups, and just to be able to battle back and stay as a team, stay connected, and be able to triumph through that, it's major, because now we know what to expect Saturday. If we do have adversity, we know how to push through it.
Okay. Now, let's kind of lighten the load up a little bit, man. All right. First off, Justin Smith Brown, man, what are your game day rituals, man? And also, what do you like to listen to? What's your go-to music, man, to get you ready to do what you do on the field?
My main thing, every game I like to have the throw out, so I'm probably going to end up taking these braids out, rocking the pro for the game. Yeah, man, the main thing I like to do is I'm very mellow, so a lot of the times, game day, I'm very chill, I'm very quiet. But towards kickoff, I start to amp up a little bit. So I like to, we call it a warrior music. So it's more so not being too high, too low, but just finding that little, how do I say it, that little edge to keep you not too high, too low.
Yeah. All right, now, my other question that I've had for all the players today, what's the name of the first football team you ever played for?
Fort St. John Rockets.
Fort St. John Rockets. Where's that located at?
That's located in Cocoa, Florida.
Florida. Okay. Yeah, man, the Rockets. Yeah, so were you always a receiver, or did you?
No, sir. Growing up, I played running back. So that's kind of where I would like to say I got my vision from, just being able to cut off people, move off people. I played running back all the way through my freshman year, and then that's kind of where I started to transition.
Okay. So what were the emotions like, man, when you first walked in Mercedes-Benz Stadium and walked on that turf, man?
Man, it's a beautiful stadium, just knowing that all the stuff that we did coming into fruition to get here, it's a blessing. So I wouldn't say that I'm amped up, because it's not
it's a big game because it's the next game. We knew what it was when we came.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just treated it as the next game.
Yeah, we had the executive director on, and he talked about how they try to make it a Super Bowl atmosphere. Does it feel like a Super Bowl atmosphere to you?
I mean, as far as, this is the most media we've ever gotten. So I would say, as far as that, yes. But as far as we knew what to expect. We knew it's a big game. We knew the media was going to be here. So we just really treated it as the next game. So I'd say it's about that.
So you got any family coming tomorrow?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All my people coming.
All your family?
Yes, sir. From Florida.
Yeah, you ready to represent for Florida?
Yes, sir. Got to.
Yeah. What's that area code?
321.
321.
Now county.
Y'all heard that 321? He get ready. Hey, look, ready to take off like 321. Go. But man, man, I'm really excited about this game. I know you guys are as well. I've really had a lot of joy in watching you guys play this year. I've watched your team play 8 times. And the thing that I've enjoyed is the camaraderie between your receiver group, and also just the connection to your quarterback, Eric Phoenix. So in the last few minutes here, talk about Eric Phoenix and how much he's meant to you guys as receivers.
Eric Phoenix, he's just been a blessing, man. When you got a guy like that who can run offense and knows the offense ins and outs, and just to be able to put your team in the best position as far as knowing the checks, knowing the coverage to put you in whatever the offense is or whatever the call is, it's just a blessing for him to be able to run offense that good as well as a coach.
All right. He's Justin Smith-Brown, y'all, number 6 in your program for South Carolina State. Looking to win that championship tomorrow. And if you do, we got a selfie coming under that confetti, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey,
But,
best of luck to you, man. Thanks for joining me. Hey, we'll be right back with the next guest, y'all. All right. I am pleased to be joined by my next defensive coach, brother. Represent yourself. Tell the folks who you are.
Go Dogs. Jordan Odaffer, defensive coordinator, South Carolina State University.
Yes, sir. He said it just like it's on Sunday Night Football. All right, Jordan. So defensively, man, I know that you've had a lot of time to just kind of break down a lot of film on Jackson State, seeing as how you guys last played on November 23rd. Just take some of the viewers here into like the process of getting yourself and getting your team ready for this game over the last couple weeks here.
Well, I tell you, it's definitely a process, especially when you're that far out and there's still an undecided race on the other side. So there's you have to kind of look at a few folks because things can still happen along the way and you're not sure exactly who you're going to see. Similar, like if you're a team that has a bye in the playoffs, you're working on breaking a couple of opponents down because a break here, a bounce there, and anyone could win a ball game at any time. I mean, you look at it, most football games, especially in the championship part of the season and bowls, there's so many good tight ball games, and even when people like, Jackson State had played Southern in the regular season, but it's hard to beat somebody twice. And there is no transitive property in football because if there was, then how do you equate games like Jackson beating Southern and Southern beating Grambling and then Grambling beating Jackson? I mean, that's the way it goes. So you have a lot of things to figure out with it. But as you look at it, you approach it the same way. You just start putting in the bones of everything because unlike at the Power 4 level where they have hundreds of people wearing polo shirts, bustling around the building all the time, you're plugging in down the distances, you're looking at situations, you're trying to pick up anything you can find, you're watching film on your system, you're watching TV copies, you're trying to find anything that you can find that'll give your young men some kind of edge because they deserve for you to work hard for them just like you ask them to work hard for you every day. So that's kind of the starting point. Is you just initially just start building out, base general ideas on multiple opponents, and then you start to thin it down as much as you can. You start to prepare as many parts as you can, but still, until the last game plays, you don't know who you're playing, and you still have to update anything that comes in that's a new look because they might have, again, like. It could be a change in personnel. It could be an injury, and then if they're very different because of said injury, then you're looking at a whole new opponent basically, and all the math and work and things you did on the back end going out the window. Then,
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the players. Okay. Now I know about about some of the guys. Literally, no pun intended. The dogs on your side. The Jalen Broughtons, the Aaron Smiths, you've got Quantrey Harry, Diego Addison. You've got some of these dogs, man. Rashard Hall. You know what I'm saying? You've got some guys. Now, with your guys, now talking about what's on the other side with Jackson State on offense. You got a 1,200-yard rusher in Irv Mulligan. You got a few receivers. You got a nice physical offensive line. So what are your thoughts about Jackson State's offense from what you've seen and how you feel? And how do you think your defense, what do you think are some of the keys to controlling their offense tomorrow?
So, great question. When you look at it, teams don't win 11 football games and don't score 40 points almost per game if they don't have ball players in all three phases of the game. Obviously, they do a lot of really good things, or else they wouldn't be here. So when you talk about it, obviously an offense with a bell cow back like Irv Mulligan, the kid's a really talented football player. Let me stop. The young man is a very talented football player, and they have other backs that can spell them. Like their freshman back, number 0, who's a talented ball carrier as well.
Yeah, Travis Terrell.
He does a great job. He's a return ace as well. So obviously he helps them to have shorter fields by getting good returns for them. They have speedy little slot receivers. They have length on the perimeter. They have tight ends that have ball skills. Like you said, they have big offensive linemen. They're huge up front. Large humans. But when you look at it, you just have to keep on looking at things that you can try to gain an advantage on, whether it's a schematic advantage, whether it's a matchup advantage, whether it's finding any small flaws that you can pick at and just find just that Achilles heel if you can find it. That's what you're looking for. But the simple answer for us that we often focus on is winning our 4 key concept and 4 key battles every single week. And it starts off with playing with amazing winning effort.
Yes.
If you're able to out-effort people, you're going to have a great opportunity at winning a football game because out-hustling, out-hitting, and never quitting is always very important. You talk about playing with extreme discipline, so now we're going to talk about winning the penalty battle.
Yeah.
You can't afford to have self-inflicted negatives.
Yes.
You can't say, oh, look, a gun, my foot, bang, and shoot yourself. You just can't do it. Like, it's not a fun thing to do. You got to be smart about it in life. So as you work on it, you have to try to cut down on penalties. You have to play hard. Now, the thing about it is by doing those two things, by playing hard and having discipline, you have a great opportunity to win the other two battles that we talked about, and that's winning the takeaway battle. So obviously forcing takeaways on our side and our offense refusing to turn the football over. And lastly, winning the explosives battle.
Yes.
You have to make people, in the day and age that we live in, people are going to make plays. It's going to happen. If you think you're going to just be the 1985 Bears and nobody's going to score a point the whole year, it's just not going to happen. Now, or the 2000 Ravens, like the offensive game has evolved so much. And obviously, at y'all's place, like at Alabama, you guys have scored a lot of points over there. You had talented quarterbacks like McCaskill Glass a few years ago. You had a lot of guys that have been able to put up a lot of points, yards, and everything. So, like, defensive coaches have really started to look at how you can make it work and what are considered wins now. You know, is it always going to be a 3 and out? Maybe not. But, you know, you have to win in situations. You have to win in third downs, fourth downs, red zone. You have to win if you have a sudden change situation. You know, it's hard to tell you guys you're not very good because there was a turnover at the 15-yard line. You forced them to a field goal. They scored points. Oh, you guys stink. You let them score. Well, that's actually pretty darn good. If they get the ball at the 50, you force a field goal, that's a win. It's a get clear, get nothing sort of situation. How you have to
right.
So redefining how you win. But if you force teams nowadays, if you don't allow them to get explosive plays, they're often less able to use their tempo to attack you. And by not being able to utilize their tempo, they're not able to do all. There's a lot of things the offense is trying to accomplish with tempo. I'm not going to get into them because I know nobody wants to hear all of that. But if you deny explosives, you make them have to work more methodically down the field. You force guys to make multiple plays in a row. It creates more and more opportunities for a mistake to happen and a defensive explosive to happen, which if you can force sacks, tackles for loss, pass breakups, takeaways, these are all disruptive plays to offenses that are also momentum killers. So if we do those things, we feel like we have a good chance to stall drives out and get either takeaways, like we talked about specifically, or get the ball back to our offense, whether it's a 3 and out or winning off possession downs on third and fourth downs.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate all that. And now, lastly, I'll get you out of here with this one, Jordan. Before you put your headset on tomorrow, what do you tell yourself, and what are some of your rituals before you get ready to take the field as defensive coordinator?
So one thing that I do is I usually find my way over to the 14-yard line and say a prayer. I wore the number 14 because my father wore the number 14. He passed away when I was very young. So for me, you know, it's kind of just a spiritual thing that I like to do. I like to feel connected if I can in that moment. And then my prayer might be a little bit different than some people's because I don't usually pray for victory because I know that God has one path for each and every one of us, and we're on it, and we can't change it. So I pray that our guys and both teams are healthy and that we play in a way that will bring glory to His name and be able to see Him through what we're putting on the field.
Hey, well, you know, you got me, man. I'm motivated. I'm ready to run, and I'm not even gonna suit up tomorrow. But you know, greatest of luck to you guys. I've enjoyed watching your team all year. You know, I love what you guys do. And even though you know you guys aren't swag, I do like your team. And I appreciate this time to sit down and talk to you. So good luck to you tomorrow, Jordan. And we definitely gonna talk some more.
Yes, sir. And I want to thank you for everything you do for our young people. Putting the spotlight on HBCU athletics. As an HBCU alum, I couldn't be more thankful for everything y'all do for us.
Hey, man, it's our pleasure. So thank you, man. Jordan Odaffer, defensive coordinator, South Carolina State. And we will be back with our next guest. And we are back now. Our next guest joining us, he's number 2 in your program, defensive back Diego Addison. Welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well, man. So, in the time that you guys have had here from November 23rd, man, what are some of the things that Diego has been working on in his game and just getting his mind and his body right for this game tomorrow?
Just, watching film, going to treatment, picking up on the little stuff they've been doing and just trying to enjoy the last little trip because I'm a senior, so this is my last little go around. So just enjoying the moment and, trying to stay in the moment.
Yeah, so you're originally from California, right?
No, I'm from Columbia.
You're from Columbia, okay. So you're local.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Apologize for that.
No, you good.
But just talk about like the journey, man, from when you started. Like, first off, what was the first team you ever played for?
As a little kid?
Yeah, as a little kid. That's been my question for everybody.
Palmetto Tigers.
Palmetto Tigers. Now that's South Carolina appropriate. Okay, now moving from Palmetto Tigers through high school to get now to South Carolina State, man. Like, what's that journey been like for Diego Addison as a man now?
It's been crazy. So I came out of high school. I only had 2 offers. One was Benedict. So I went right down the street. Benedict is literally 5 minutes from my house.
Ooh.
So that's how we got here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you follow Coach Berry. Like, how was was it an easy sale, or was it just like, hey, this is my man, this is my guy, I'm rocking with him always?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be with no other coach. He's put a lasting imprint on me, preaching like there's life after football, but football will teach you stuff about like how to approach life.
Yes.
In a way. So I appreciate him for that. Like when I came in as a freshman, he's saying the stuff. Sometimes it don't click, but once you get older, you start getting closer to like your time being over with football. It kind of clicks in your head. Like he's really pouring into us and want us to be something greater outside of football.
So with tomorrow being the last game of your college career, what are some of the things that Diego Addison's going to do to make sure he leaves it the right way, regardless of the outcome?
Just make sure I do my job, get everybody lined up, make sure we don't have any busts, and then just go out there and leave it all out there.
Yeah. So about this Jackson State group, man, preferably, the receivers. What have you seen from them, and how have you guys prepared for them?
As a receiver group, they're a real explosive group. They live off explosive plays. So we just got to keep them in front of us, communicate well, and tackle, and I feel like we'll be good.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what are some of the things, this is the other question we have for the players. What are some of the things in your rituals, man, that you do before the game?
I got to listen to some music right before I go out. And then right when we get to the stadium, I always like to walk the field, see everything, stretch on the field, and then go back in the locker room. That's all I really got.
So for music, man, what's on Diego's playlist, man?
A little Florida music. I got some little shimmy on there, and then some Boss Man D-Lo just dropped. So I'm gonna be cranking that tomorrow.
Okay, all right. So, Boss Man D-Lo, if you hear him, he gonna rep you tomorrow. So you got how many? I know you got family members coming to this game, man. How many family members you got coming? They hit you up. They say, we got to get some tickets.
As soon as we see the celebration ball, everybody wants some tickets. But my whole mom's side, my whole dad's side, my uncles, some of my friends from high school. So I think it's around maybe 10, 15.
That's a nice group, man. That's a healthy group, 10, 15 people, man. And that means a lot, man. Now, number 2. Has that always been your number?
Nah, me personally, since my whole career, I kind of like to switch the numbers up. If I can, I want to switch it up because, I feel like every year is a new you.
Mm-hmm.
So I always wanted to have change it up. Like I had 7 at Benedict last year. I could have got that this year, but I wanted to change it up, go with something new too. It's a new year, new journey, new me. So
yeah. Now talk about your fellow secondary mates like Trei. What are those guys, man? What do those guys mean to you, man?
I'm proud of them guys because if you go back to the FAMU game, there's a couple DBs that was in that game that's not with us, hurt, injured, whatever. So I'm proud of them. Trei, Harry, Logan.
Yep.
Dub, Mike, all of them stepping up. And we just stepped up, came together. Whoever was out there playing, like, it was just like the standard was never changed, no matter who went in. So I'm proud of them guys for coming in. You know, it might have been their first start or whatever, but playing hard and executing.
Yeah. Now we just had your defensive coordinator Jordan Odaffer here. What has he meant to you in your career?
He's meant everything. That's the DC I've had the whole time. I feel like he shows you like how dedicated he is. He helps us with the plan. He helps us he makes it so easy for us to just go out there and play fast, play physical, and have a plan for what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
I feel like he gets us prepared every week. Like I feel like I wouldn't want any other one person scouting the other team and telling us what's gonna come. Like I feel like he's the best at that.
Yeah. Now my other question, man, I'll get you out of here on this, man. When you walked out on that field, man, and you saw that stadium and you saw that stadium roof, first off, is this the biggest stadium you've ever played in or getting ready to play in?
So my freshman year, we played in the Circle City Classic.
So you played Lucas Oil Stadium.
Lucas Oil,
okay.
It's a little different. It was like open, so
yeah,
it's a little darker. It felt a little different. Better than Lucas Oil, I can't lie.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to getting in there tomorrow too. I've never been in there. I will be in there tomorrow. I gotta say, man, you guys have been a very impressive team this year, man. I think the turning point for your season, definitely to me, I thought that Tennessee Tech game. Now, what were the emotions at Tennessee? I gotta ask this, man. What were the emotions at Tennessee Tech game? Because remember, they tried to kick the field goal. It was good. There was a penalty, and then they come back and it's no good. What were the emotions, man?
It was crazy. That was a real up and down.
Yeah.
Because we got a pick, and then we fumbled it, gave it right back to him.
Yep.
And then we forced him to a field goal out of a timeout, but then we had 12 people on the field. Yeah. And he missed it. I think he missed it.
Yeah, he missed it.
So then we had to kick it again.
Yep.
No way, we just did that.
Yep.
And then I'm standing right there, I look, and the ball like it's going down the middle, and it just curves to the left. Nobody but God.
So it's just like, hey, the game is a matter of inches. Yep. Yeah, man. To me, I thought that was like your turning point.
Yeah, that was a big win for our program.
Yeah, it was. And then obviously the one where you had on Halloween night, you know, that great game, man, where it was, you guys were fully on display both sides. I really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed watching you guys as a group. I'm going to look forward to watching you guys tomorrow. I wish you nothing but the best, man. And enjoy the last ride for yourself, man.
Appreciate you.
All right. Diego Addison, South Carolina State defensive back. And we'll be back with the next guest from South Carolina State. All right. Welcome back. My next guest, introduce yourself.
How's it going, man? My name is Coach Rashard Alston. I'm the running backs coach here at South Carolina State. Go Dogs.
All right, now, let me just get right into this, man. DeAndre Duhart and KZ Adams.
Yep, DeAndre Duhart. Yes, sir.
Yes, man. Those are your two guys. And also, Eric Phoenix is also a little bit of a runner. But I want to talk about KZ and DeAndre, okay? How, from just what you've seen from these guys, just in their development, like how have you been impressed by how they've developed, man?
Man, those guys have such a great work ethic. You know, and they're selfless. They care about each other. They care about each other's success. Man, they come to work with a hard hat, lunch pail mentality every day. You know, rain, sleet, or snow. Man got to go to work, right? So if you want that package delivered, right? People want touchdowns on Saturday, so man got to go to work. And those guys come to work every day, man. They bust their tails. I coach them hard. You know, I coach them hard, but they take the coaching. You know, nobody ever gets in their feelings. You know, they take the coaching, man, and they're very coachable kids. They're great players, but they're even better young men. they're even better human beings, man. So I have the honor of coaching. I'm honored to be their coach. And I couldn't be more proud.
Now, with you guys, South Carolina State, I know a lot of times, sometimes people like to look over at the passing side. They like to look at your three dynamic wide receivers. But what have you done inside of your coaching and all of your preparation to keep these guys at the ready, man?
But you always got to stay ready. You always have to be ready because each of us needs all of us, right? Each of us needs all of us. We have three amazing receivers on line. They're amazing. But we have to help the quarterback get the ball off to him, right? Yeah. Because we know if everybody does their job up front, O-line does their job up front, we protect Eric Phoenix. And he's able to deliver the ball to those guys. Oh man, sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? So everybody does their 1-11. We talk about 1-11. Yeah. It's 11 guys on the field. Everybody has one job. Everybody does their one job, man. We have a great play. So that's what it's all about. It's about the team. It's not about. It's about how you play without the ball. Brendan Mary has a great pro. How you play without the ball determines how much you love your teammates.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So we love our guys. They block for us down the field when we get the ball. So anything we need to do to help the team win, man, we're all about it. So now with your running back group, how much in the game plan do you really see them not just running the ball? Because I know a lot of times we talk about running the ball, they're running between tackles, getting on counters, sweeps, all those things, draws. But how much value do you really see them tomorrow in the importance of using your backs in pass protection? It's always huge. It's always huge. A running back is a very, very, very important job, right? It's one of the positions that's taken for granted, but it's very important, right? It's one of the positions it's like if you can't run the ball, that's the only time you're worried about the running backs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's very important. They're very important in the game plan, because for one, you have to be involved in the run game, right? You have to be involved in the pass protection, right? And if nobody's coming, you have to be involved in the pass route. So you have a lot of jobs, you know what I mean? So they're very important, and they'll be utilized a lot tomorrow.
That's awesome, man. And also, man, with your group, how much time do you spend in splits between running and also coming out in the flat as a receiver?
You said what now?
Like how much time is spent between obviously when you're training about doing your running drills, but also how much time do you guys spend on them being receivers out of the backfield?
We spend a lot of time on it because that's what the offense calls for, right? So everything that we have, if anything that we work, or if we want to put a play in, anything we work, we're going to work it at ending before we get to it, right? So everything that we do, we work on thoroughly, right? So we're never going to get to the game and do something that we've never done before. Everything that we do, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it not until we get it right. We're going to do it until we can't get it wrong.
Yeah. So how bad are your guys ready to hit somebody else other than your own guys tomorrow?
We have a focused football team that's ready. And one thing about our guys, like they don't get into all the rah-rah, the back and forth talk before the game, because man, you can't talk this game. Yeah. At the end of the day, we're gonna get 60 minutes tomorrow. The ball's gonna kick off by 12:06. We're gonna get 60 minutes. But we have a focused football team that's ready. They're ready to play. So,
my man.
Yes, sir.
Running backs is what he does. DeAndre Duhart, KZ Adams, anybody, all hands on deck. Runs through this man right here. South Carolina State.
Go Dogs.
Thanks for joining me, man. All right. Now, up next, we will be joined by head coach Chennis Berry. And Coach Chennis Berry, he's going to make his way on over here. And this is the talk that we've been waiting to have all day. And this is where we're going to round out our coverage today with head coach Chennis Berry. Coming on over. I already got the graphic ready for you. Come on. You know what I'm saying, coach? Yeah. I stay ready. I stay ready. I had to get you with the shades, man.
Oh yeah, that's swag right there.
Yeah, that's swag. That's real swag. Man, all right. Do me a favor, coach. Get close to the mic so the people can hear you. So America can hear you. First off, Coach Chennis Berry in the house, man. Welcome to From the Hill Podcast and the Round Wild Wayne, man. Now, my first question for you. November 23rd, man, when you guys walk off that field against Norfolk State, What have been some of the key things that you've done to keep your boys nice and fresh with that edge leading up till the now? The now. Not now, the now.
Well, man, we're so process oriented, man. First of all, to God be the glory that we're even here.
Yeah.
We're grateful for the moment, man, to have an opportunity because the reality is nobody thought we were going to be here. But when you have young men and coaches that are bought into our process and fall in love with the journey, man, everybody wants the prize, but nobody wants the process.
Yeah.
We're all about the process, man, and those mundane things that nobody wants to do. And just getting young men to believe, man. Half the battle is believing, man. You got to get buy-in.
Yeah.
When you come in and take over a legendary program from a legendary head coach, a living legend, Oliver Buddy Pough, man, you have to come in and set your own standard on what you believe in and what you're all about. So for me, man, I'm all about the process, man. Surrendering the outcome, fall in love with the process, becoming great. But, our guys have been locked in since that day, man. We've been focusing on polishing us, working on us, man. The fundamentals, the hat placement, all of those small things, going back to our install ones and twos. And then last but not least, getting healthy. It's a long season thus far, man, and we've been banged up. So, we're a healthy football team now. I can't wait to see our young men show the world what Bulldog football is all about.
Yeah, man. So let's talk a little bit about some of the the individual parts of this game, man. So I had your counterpart on earlier, TC Taylor, and we kind of talked a little bit about your offensive line against their defensive line, man. So you as an offensive line, you guessed in your pedigree, man. So talk about your offensive line, in the matchup against their defensive line with Joshua Nobles and True Thompson.
Well, they do a good job up front. Those guys are well coached. They fly around. They do some good things, man. And our offensive line is well coached as well. So it's going to be the battle of the trenches, man, when you look at it. But I'm an O-line, D-line kind of guy, man. I feel like our D-line is the best in the country. Our D-line is special. And their O-line is going to have to block our D-line, man. So it's a battle of the trenches, man, at the end of the day. A game is won in the trenches. Everybody looks at the skill guys. Obviously, they score the touchdowns and, get all the glitz and the glamour. But the game of football is won and lost in the trenches. So, our young men will be prepared on both sides of the ball. And then we're going to let the chips fall where they may at 12 noon tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, talk about your leader, man, at quarterback, Eric Phoenix, man. How much has he meant to you, man, in your career to date?
Well, Eric Phoenix and I have a special relationship. I love Eric Phoenix. He and I have been together since I took the job at Benedict College, man. So there's no secret, man. It's divine intervention that we're back together again. He had a good career. He won the championship over there with us at Benedict, and he decided to bet on himself like a lot of these kids do. Decided to go in the portal. And, he chose to go to Murray State University, and things didn't work out. He had some adversity. Things didn't work out like he had planned. And divine intervention said that I got the head coach job at South Carolina State, and he had another year eligibility. So we were meant to be together. It's not just happenstance that we so happen to be together again. And what a great year he's had. He's been a pleasure to coach, man. He's very smart. He's cerebral. He's a dual threat guy. He knows the offense, the same offense that we ran at Benedict College, man. So, him have some familiarity of what we were doing. I'm just grateful that he's here. He chose to come to us, and he has to finish the drill. We have one more. The objective is for us to go 1-0 again. You need for him to play with.
Yeah. So now, before Coach Chennis puts the headset on tomorrow at 12, like they say, at 12:06 when that ball kicks off, what are some of the pregame rituals that Chennis as a head coach has?
Man, I'm gonna pray first, man. I'm gonna get on them knees, man. Old school. I'm gonna get on them knees and pray. You know what I'm saying? Just ask God for wisdom, guidance, knowledge, and understanding to do His will, not my will. And and that's once we do that, man, let the chips fall where they may. Because once you got God with you, with God before you, nobody can be against you, man. So all in all, man, we're gonna get ready to rock and roll. Get my team ready to go like I always do, man. We got certain ways we do things, how we process and how we get ready for a game. And we'll do that. We won't change it. We will do what got us here. So we're excited about it all, man. We're just excited to be here. We're playing against a good Jackson State University football team. But again, like I always say, man, we get 60 minutes, man. So what happens in them 60 minutes, we got full control of that.
Well, Coach Chennis, man, been a fan of your work, man.
Thank you,
I
brother.
watched you guys play.
Thank
I
you,
said I watched you guys play about 8 times this year.
Okay.
Love the receivers.
Oh yeah, they're special.
Love the group. Love everything you've done, man. Love the path.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you, man.
And if the Lord may say so, we'll have a selfie tomorrow under the backdrop of some confetti.
Let's do it, man.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us.
Go Dogs.
And that's Coach Chennis Berry, y'all. And I'm gonna welcome in here Jennifer Murray. Come have a seat real quick here. Jennifer Murray has been part of this experience with me today, and I would be remiss if Jennifer Murray didn't say a few things before we end this show today.
Well, if y'all know me, I am behind the scenes. I'm a behind the scenes person, but this has been fun. Met a lot of good people. Got a lot of good info. I'm excited. And this is just my plea. If you've never been to the Celebration Bowl, get here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a beautiful exercise place. The SWAC and MEAC, it's just Black excellence. So if you can, get here. The energy is nice. Both fan bases are deep. I expect a full house, and as always, go A&M Bulldogs.
Look at here. I knew I was gonna see this at least once today. The JSU WAP out there.
Okay, it wouldn't be them if they didn't say it, but yeah.
Yeah. So we'll end this broadcast by saying all the picks have been made. I've made my pick. We've already broken this game down. We've talked to the coaches. We talked to the players. We talked to some of the executives. We talked to some of the people that have made this thing work. It has been our esteemed privilege on not just From the Hill podcast, but also me personally on the Ride with Wild Wayne Cartwright to bring you this extravagant event for the very first time, live and definitely on site. And tomorrow we're going to be on site in the stadium. We're going to be having more exclusive content. We'll do some pregame stuff. We'll do some postgame stuff. And we're just going to enjoy this whole thing.
Lock in. We got some exciting content coming tomorrow. Make sure you lock in. Support the game. Tune in. Then tune in to us after.
Yeah, and also before you leave, make sure you hit that like button on all the streams.
And subscribe.
On everything. And we'll see you tomorrow from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. For Wild Wayne Cartwright, Jennifer J. Murray, we in the house, and we headed on to the next part of our evening. God bless y'all. See ya.